Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon. Hope you are well. Hope this finds you so very well. Welcome to this evening show. My name is Jakes, the moderator. This is the Afrique Tonight. Karibu sana show hii ya jioni ambayo ndio imeanza tu wakati huu wa jioni saa 4 hapa Kenya, ndio wakati tunaanza hii show. Show mmekuja kupenda tu sana. Welcome to this show. Welcome to this conversation we are about to have just about now. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Nijuze hapo kwa comment section maoni yako ni yapi, especially unaendeleaje, and above all, where is this finding you, ladies and gentlemen? Karibu sana kwa hii show. This is your show. This is of course your host Jakes, the moderator. Karibuni sana. Nijuze unatazama ukiwa wapi, si tayari wengi wamejaja, mmekuwa mkingoja hii mkiuliza itaanza saa ngapi. Sasa ndo hiyo saa ndo hiyo, na tushaanza. We have an interesting topic, we have an interesting show. Above all, we have an interesting conversation just to happen about now. Where are you tuning in from? Let me know hapo kwa comment section. Zaidi ya yote, I'll be letting you know how you join this show. We have a great one, a good one, a better one than many you have watched, because we work very hard to make sure that each of our shows is really outstanding. Asante sana. All right, karibu sana. Kindly consider subscribing to Afrique 24. Make this your home away from home. All right, your channel away from other channels. Okay, so subscribe hapo kwa Afrique 24. Kimbia hapo YouTube, subscribe to Afrique 24. All right, tafuta to Afrique 24, and that's how you find us. That's how you make us grow. Let's grow together. Me and you can make this happen. All right, asante sana. Thank you very much. I see many joining, I see many liking, subscribing, sharing, and above all being part of this great conversation happening live here at Afrique 24. Karibu sana, karibu tu sana. I am glad to be your host this evening, to be the moderator, and of course the facilitator of this wonderful, great show that we are about to have just now. All right, the conversation still goes on. Despite all that I told you, this is an issue seemingly not going anywhere anytime soon. The blows between the judiciary and the executive, and now equally the Azimio faction has joined in, because it's not longer as we thought it would be something that maybe will go away in a day or so, but it has gone on for weeks now. And where Jana's speech by Martha Koome has attracted very many mixed reactions. I'll be playing you most of the reactions, and equally, I'll be playing the response from the president, the response from Raila Odinga. Equally, today, I am equally privileged to have a clip from Atwoli himself, what he said in as far as the courts are concerned. I'll be playing as well what Jimmy Orengo had to say, and many other leaders, including you, Mwananchi, what you had to say again in as far as this war between the judiciary and the executive is concerned. This began several weeks back. I was able to tell you that when the president made utterances against the judges, it was bound to go on for days and end. And true to that, that has been the trend, and the trajectory hasn't changed. It seems to be getting hotter and intense every other day. So sit back, relax, enjoy this show, because I have a great show lined up for you. I equally have great panelists about to join me. So you really don't want to miss this one. This is where you sit, relax, and enjoy. All right, grab some popcorns, and of course, grab as what you need to make you enjoy this show. All right. Here at Afrique, we make sure the conversation keeps on giving to you. All right. Need content after content. All right. Okay. So Martha Koome yesterday issued a statement. All right. One of the statements that she was trying to bring out was that the constant attacks on the judges, on the judiciary, the blanket condemnation on the judiciary in as far as corruption is concerned, in as far as how they rule their cases is concerned, is really damaging the judicial process, or the law process or how justice is served here in Kenya. In any case, she said that what this war eventually will lead to is a form of anarchy. Why? Because even the civilians themselves may not agree with the ruling that the courts may be issuing. If the president can say, "Oh, this ruling was made because the judge was corrupt. This ruling was made because some officials were compromised." What will make you a common man, a mwananchi like me and you, to trust the process? What will make you feel that justice was served in the courts of law? All right. So that's what Martha Koome yesterday said. But above all, after saying all the good words, after saying all the nice um, sentiments that many agreed with, there are sentiments as well that many felt that, hey, hapo hapana, hapo hapana. Why? Because Matakome said and suggested that they need to meet with the presidency, or rather the executive, so that they can iron out their differences and actually have a way of finding a common ground. Now, there is where eyebrows were raised. Therein lies the challenge. Why? Because how? Yeah, someone also accused in court. Yeah, the other side of the accused side or the plaintiff side. Yeah, in a court of law also as well has the ability to meet with the judges and negotiate terms and conditions. All right, how? What happens when Okiom Tata takes them to court, or when you and I take the government to court, and the government has the ability to negotiate with judges? Where will there be justice if there is an opponent who has the ability to go meet a judge, to go meet the president of a judge, to go meet the judiciary? All right, sit down and discuss on how matters in court should be dealt with, how matters of public interest should be dealt with. When the president, for example, has cut corners, I'm not saying he has, I'm just saying when he has cut corners, and after cutting corners, the court have given him a gag order, or rather has stopped what he has chosen to implement, and then the president has a way of meeting the judge behind the scenes. How fair is that process? How fair is that to the other side of those who have taken him to court? When will the Akio Mtata and the others meet these judges? When will Raila Odinga and others meet these judges? Of course, the president has the privilege, since he's the commander in chief of the armed forces, of course, the head of the executive. But when will the other arms as well have an opportunity to meet the judges? In this meeting, will everyone be invited? Will all participants be invited in this meeting? Will it be a fair meeting? All right. Martha Koome asked for it. And today, of course, William Ruto, the president, agreed to this meeting. In fact, said he's so willing to partner, to work, to really find an amicable solution to all this. But when the president meets the chief justice, is their justice really served? When the president has a way of meeting the referee, and the other team is not there, will the other team receive justice in court? Is this how we ought to really adjudicate our issues here in our country? That if you feel aggrieved, you have a way of meeting the judge prior. Yeah, there are so many matters still alive in court. So when William Ruto, the president, says, you know what, I need to say this, that the judges are corrupt, the officials are corrupt, and because they are corrupt, he hasn't brought in evidence, because the other day Martha Koome asked for evidence. Instead of that blanket condemnation, he asked for evidence. That hasn't been brought out. Of course, Gachagua, the deputy president himself, said he has a problem with one Justice Esther Minor. And those are some of the things that we will be looking at in this show. So this is a show you don't really want to miss. I'll be playing so many clips. I'll be playing so many sentiments from various people, from various quarters of how people feel, especially concerning the reaction, all right, from or rather the sentiments from Martha Gomez asking to have a discussion with the executive. All right, justice should not be ever seen to be negotiated. All right, in any case, the laws of equity demand that he who comes to the table should come with clean hands. When William Ruto is coming to the table, when the executive is coming to the table, is it coming with clean hands? Has it equally cut corners in getting this justice? All right. So the other team, will it also not feel aggrieved if not equally present in this meeting? Why should one of the accused meet a judge prior? In any case, in some laws, in some countries, I'm sure you're not allowed to meet the judge privately in his chamber. If your court is so live in the, in the court, if your case is so live, or rather, if the proceeding of your case is still alive in court, you're not allowed to meet, without both counsels present in that meeting. Yeah, lest the judge will be accused of being corrupt. So this is an interesting show that you really don't want to miss. I'll be playing you a lot of things. Equally, I'll be joined by able gentlemen and ladies to help us converse through this great, awesome topic. All right, so let me begin it like this. Let's begin from where it all began.
Has accused the executive arm of government of attempting to erode the independence of the judiciary. And speaking when she presided over the handover ceremony for outgoing Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Anne Amadi, Koome challenged the executive to produce evidence on allegations it raised against unnamed judicial officers over court orders that halted government projects. Koome says that the Judicial Service Commission is ready to process any complaints. Ayub Abdikadir reports.
The very same auditorium where she and other judges of the Supreme Court unanimously upheld President William Ruto's victory provided Chief Justice Martha Koome with a platform to answer President William Ruto and Kenya Kwanza leaders disgruntled by court orders that have stopped pet government projects.
All right, I think that one
What is a direct response to the head of state, who has sustained an all-out war on the judiciary since the year began?
All right, allow me to play this on instead.
Now says he is ready for dialogue with Chief Justice Martha Koome following sustained attacks on the judiciary. The president, who was in a development tour of Nandi County, however, maintained that the judiciary has been taken hostage by corrupt judges that have deep-seated influence in the corridors of justice and who are colluding with cartels to derail government projects. Here's Stephen Leto with that report.
A day after Chief Justice Martha Koome warned that attacks on the judiciary could easily slide the country into anarchy, President William Ruto, who has been leading the onslaught on the judiciary, maintains that his bid to clean up the judiciary is unstoppable. And responding to call for dialogue by Chief Justice Martha Koome to save the country from a leadership friction, President Ruto now says he will lead the talks.
Mimi nataka nimwambie Madam Chief Justice, mimi niko tayari. Mkutano kati ya executive, judiciary, legislature, our leadership, the leadership of the executive, mimi nikiongoza, the leadership of the judiciary, ikiongozwa na Chief Justice, the leadership of the legislature, ikiongozwa na speakers wetu. I am ready for the conversation on how we are going to deal with vested interest, with incompetence, and with especially corruption.
In his address in Mgwen, Tinderet and Aldai constituencies, President Ruto maintained that the judiciary has been held hostage by corrupt judges and judicial officers who have conspired with powerful individuals to sabotage government projects.
And I am going to lead from the front in that conversation, so that we can deal with a monster that is destroying our country, so that we can deal with those, the corrupt, who go to courts. Once they have been investigated, once they know they are going to be charged, they run to court obtain orders that they cannot be charged for crimes they have committed.
The Chief Justice warned that public utterances against the judiciary for the past few weeks have dented the country's image. Koome said the threats and declarations from the president against judges have continued to lower public confidence in courts. But the president's allies appear unperturbed about Koome's concerns.
Na sisi pale tumemshikilia huyu rais, na sisi kazi yetu ni kumsaidia. Yeye anatuongoza pale, anapanga, yetu ni kutekeleza yale anasema.
It, however, remains unclear on the nature of the dialogue the executive will hold with the judiciary, with the two being independent arms of government. The Judicial Service Commission had last week directed anyone with a complaint against individual judges to file their complaints before JSC instead of blanket condemnation of the judiciary.
We're going to have a conversation about the people who want the status quo in our housing program. The people who want citizens to continue paying rent in their estates. That's why they are sabotaging this housing program, because it is going to create more home owners and more Kenyans. Even mama mboga na bodaboda watakuwa na nafasi ya kuwa na nyumba katika Kenya hii.
Already, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has declared that he will on Thursday this week file a petition seeking the removal of Justice Esther Maina from office, claiming that Justice Maina unceremoniously declared his fortune process of crime, a move he says was meant to taint his image in the run-up to the 2022 general election. Stephen Letter.
All right, and with me, I have Alex, while others are equally joining, but equally you as well can be part of this awesome conversation we are about to have. Now, this conversation happens live here at Africa 24, so we are very live. So for you to also participate, you can participate, of course, through the comment section and equally by joining in live. Now, the link to join us live is there at the comment section. If you're joining us via Mtembei TV, Africa 24, Truth TV, Leo TV, Kenya News 24. If you're joining us on all our platforms, Voices of the Innocent. If you're joining us on all those platforms, including Africa Facebook, kindly use that link to join us in the show. The link takes you to StreamYard. Ukifika StreamYard, what you do, asha camera, asha mic, alafu andika jina, and then after you do that, utajikuta umeingia kwa show once you click enter. All right, so please join us in the show. The conversation really keeps on moving here at Africa 24. I see Nyayo 40 akondani anasema hello Jakes, how are you Nyayo? I see Goody akondani, asante sana. Participate as well kwa comment section, and as well equally participate by liking and subscribing to Africa 24, and let us make this conversation happen in all other areas. All right, thank you very much, asante sana. All right, now let's put the ball rolling. Now, Bwana Alex, what do you make of that first video I've played? But first of all, how are you? Hope you're well. As well, please tell us, what do you make of the president acceptance to the invitation by none other than Martha Koome, and to have a sitting with them? Of course, I mean, include your statement that he's ready to sit with the judiciary, the executive, and equally the legislature, where he says he's the head of the judiciary, of the executive. Martha Koome heads the judiciary, and the two speakers. Now, already it's an interesting look at it from this angle. The two speakers come from Kenya Kwanza. The president comes from Kenya Kwanza. The legislature itself, most of the members are from Kenya Kwanza. So even when the two speakers and the president meet, they come from one faction. When Martha Koome comes, she comes alone from the judiciary. So really, is it a balanced meeting? Number two, what happens to the other guys, the other litigants who go to court? Yeah, when will they have a meeting, a sit down with the judges, or rather with the leadership of these courts? Is this not trying to buy justice earlier? Is this not trying to negotiate for justice beforehand? Of course, I'm sure that's a mouthful, but you are a very sophisticated human, and I'm sure you have been able to follow all of us too. But welcome so much, Mr. Alex. Hope you're well.
Yeah, Jakes, thank you. I hope you're well.
I
am. Sana.
And
I hope you will have a very good show.
You
Go
know,
on.
the
Mm-hmm.
interesting thing here is that
Mm-hmm.
Koome had a very good speech
Uh-huh.
where she said that this country is going to be run into anarchy because of the executive and the continuous attacks from the executive. But at the end, she shocked me when she said in that interview that she would like to have a meeting with Ruto. A lot of criticism has come from the opposition, from the judiciary. I saw Ahmed Nasir write a long post uh, asking why Koome should meet the executive. It has never happened. It should not happen. These are two independent institutions, and they should not go to bed together. The executive will always want to get whatever it wants, but if it wants something that is wrong, the courts must stop it, and therefore the meeting between Koome and Ruto is wrong. Now, what is interesting? What is interesting is Koome said she wants to have a meeting with Ruto. Now, Ruto has decided not to go alone. Now, Ruto is inviting the speakers and the leaders and himself. And in his speech today, it is Koome who invited her to the meeting. Ruto is saying that he's going to lead the meeting. You know, that's very interesting. And then he said there are people who are stopping his projects. He wants to make sure that Koome stops that, so that, for example, he gave the example of the housing project that has been stopped. Now he is saying that he wants to resolve it with Koome, so that the person who went to court, they should dissolve that and allow those things to go on. You know, there's something interesting. Raila said in Vihiga. He said if that meeting happens, the judiciary will be compromised, and the judiciary will never be independent, and the executive will do anything in this country that it wants, and now it will turn into uh, dictatorship. And I agree with Ahmed Nasir. And I agree with Raila Amolo Odinga. Why should Martha Koome beat Ruto? For what reason? What should they resolve? If Ruto and his government are attacking the judiciary should be vigilant and have a tough skin and do its work the way it's supposed to be done. That's what Magara did. When he was told that we will revisit it, he didn't care. He continued to do his work. And that's why Uhuru gave him a tough time. So it looks like Martha Koome has been compromised, and the speech she gave was phony, was false. She was lying to Kenyans. All she wanted to let Kenyans see is, I'm going to beat Ruto. The second thing is Ruto names the projects that he wants to do. The third thing is Ruto is vigilant to say that we will clean up the judges who are giving Kenya Kwanza wrong how do I call it? Judgment that is not favorable to them. So Ruto is going to this meeting with Wetangula and with the Speaker of the National Assembly, not to solve the problems of attacking the judiciary, but to making sure that he gets everything that he wants. Koome has put herself into a very precarious position, whereby she's going to be sleeping with the executive. I hope, and you saw that Kenya Kwanza has infiltrated, and they are paying handsome money to the LSK elections so that LSK should not do what? Criticize them at all. So far, 85% of Judicial Service Commission is pro-Ruto because he put there Isaac Ruto for a purpose. So the judiciary is going to be useless. And this is where I say dictatorship is going to start. I will end it there.
Just one moment. You mentioned Raila Odinga, and ladies and gentlemen, this is what the opposition, of course, Kalonzo issued a statement, and Raila Odinga, while in Vihiga, I think, equally made some serious criticism as one Alex is trying to say. And let's listen in even as we continue.
Raila Odinga has warned Chief Justice Martha Koome against meeting and negotiating with the president, saying the move will not only compromise the judiciary, but the country as a whole. Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, on his part, has dismissed threats by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to protest before the Judicial Service Commission on Thursday as a, quote, culmination of absurdity. The two leaders spoke separately during the ODM recruitment drive in Vihiga and Wiper Party National Executive meeting in Nairobi. Seth Olale reports.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga has cautioned Chief Justice Martha Koome against lowering her guard by meeting and negotiating with President William Ruto. The Azimio la Umoja leader, while presiding over the recruitment drive of ODM party in Vihiga County, said the move will not only compromise the judiciary, but the country as well.
Please, Madam Martha Koome, don't compromise the independence of the judiciary by going to bed with the executive. There's nothing to be discussed between you and the executive.
Sentiments shared by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka while leading a meeting of his party's National Executive Committee in Nairobi.
There's nothing to negotiate. Absolutely. And I would be very disappointed if Chief Justice Koome was to fall for that obvious trick and fall into a trap.
The two opposition leaders warning that the country's hard-fought democracy is now under serious threat from dictatorial rule of President William Ruto's leadership style.
Judicial rulings must be respected by everybody, including the President of Kenya.
On this issue, Kenyans went to the streets because of the high cost of living. If you add this abuse of the constitutional order, then you are courting for a real disaster.
The two leaders scoffed at Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's planned protest at the Judicial Service Commission on Thursday in a bid to oust a sitting judge, terming the move a culmination of absurdity.
On this issue, Kenyans went to the streets because of the high cost of living. If you add this abuse of the constitutional order, then you are courting for a real disaster.
Hiyo kesi ilitolewa kisiasa. Hiyo kesi ilitolewa kisiasa, maana yake kulikuwa na ushahidi ya kutosha dhidi ya bwana Gachagua. Na mimi nasema hata hapa siku ya leo ya kwamba Gachagua hastahili kuwa naibu wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Defense Force.
The Azimio leaders were reacting to Chief Justice Martha Koome's move to seek dialogue with the president over continued attacks on the judiciary. Seth Olale, Citizen TV.
All right. So that is happening. So that's what Raila Odinga and Kalonzo had to say. It's what Bwana Alex was trying to explain. I'm equally joined now by Mr. G. Mr. G, good evening. Hope you're well.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Anyway, bro, umepata chajio kweli?
Nimepata?
Chajio, chakula cha jioni, chajio.
Yeah. Tumekula. But Alex, naona Alex uko mzima.
All right. Now, what do you make of the sentiments from one Martha Koome of asking the president to meet with her, and of course today the president agreeing on the meeting and equally inviting, adding to the invited list the two speakers of both houses, and Raila Odinga says that shouldn't happen. Why is it even necessary for Supreme Court judge to meet the president to negotiate what? That's what Kalonzo Musyoka is asking. What are you negotiating? What do you make of that reaction by the president and of course equally the two principles of Azimio?
Exactly. I'm also asking the same question. Why are they meeting?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mr. Jex, I think it was 2 weeks ago when we had this discussion, and I remember telling you that Ruto has an invitation on this threat on the judiciary. He had what he knew what he wanted, and he's doing it just to inflict fear into these people, our judges, so that he can go free with everything that he wants to take. Alikuwa anataka awafanye waoga. The threats were to just make these people wawe waoga so that he can intimidate them, na awe anaweza fanya anything that atakuwa anafanya. Obviously hakuna mtu ataweza kusimama mbele yake. Just ask yourself a question. This is Martha Koome, ambao he was complaining some few weeks ago, akisema kuwa the executive sijui imefanya nini, and she's the one who is calling the president at wanakaa chini wa discuss. What are they discussing?
All right.
Those are the questions that we are still asking, because utapata these guys wakienda kuketi pale, anaenda kuwaambia kuwa anataka kazi yake ifanywe hivi na hivi na hivi. That's where hata akiwa dictator, judiciary haitatusaidia. These judges, they will never help us. Atafanya kila kitu ambacho anataka kwa sababu ashaingiza uoga kwa watu.
All right. And when you look at it, Martha Koome seems to have said the judges should not be intimidated. They should not be told they should rule in a particular way. Equally, she was against the element of defying court orders. Now, when the president comes out and says, you know, these judges are corrupt, and because they are corrupt, we need to have a meeting. We need to have a sit down with the Chief Justice. Honestly, is that even legal? Is that even meeting legal? Because that's not the allowed procedure. He ought to take his grievances to JSC, where he has a representative in the name of the Attorney General. Is Justice Muturi not competent enough to raise the grievances of the president in that JSC? What do you make of him requesting to meet Koome outside the set procedures? Mr. G?
No, this is just fear. As I said, Mr. Jex, this is just fear. Huyu mama ameingia uoga. Yeah. Ameingia uoga. And you know, these are the people who failed us. You know, Mr. Jakes, you remember what we went through. Okay, I don't know if you are on Azimio side, but for me, I'm an Azimio supporter. That day, ambao the Kipara man announced this guy as a president, he crushed our heart kabisa, mpaka leo hatujaiamini. Mpaka mimi sahi sielewi. You know, this is a president, okay, nakubali kwa sababu that is the fact, alitangazwa, but siamini mpaka leo kwa Ruto is my president. Siamini. But the fact remains that he's a president of Kenya. So, kwa mahakama wakati tulipeleka kesi yetu, you saw how we were intimidated. Uliona vile tuliaibishwa, tukiitwa wide goons, sijui what hot air, sijui what and what. And this is the woman ambayo I told you that in fact I called her a hypocrite. This woman, I remember calling her a hypocrite here. Na ukawa unasema ati hapana, I'm using just sijui harsh words. Those are what you told me, that I'm using harsh words on her. She is a corrupt woman. He called our case hot air. Na nikakwambia huyu mtu hakuna mahali anaenda. Hii kelele ambayo anapiga ni kelele za chura tu. Huyu mtu anajuana na Ruto kwa vilemba. They failed us. Huyu mtu akachukua ushindi wetu. Sasa yeye ndio president, ndio anamharibu nchi. Sasa anasema wanaenda kukaa kuongea nini? So wanaenda kuongea vile atakuwa anaendelea na corruption zao.
Well, Aneto Mr. G, before I come back to you, Alex and Mr. G, I see my brother, my good one, Brother Benson Mwenyewe, BMM. Hi, how are you? Hope you're well, my brother. Good to see you. All right. Now, what do you make of the president and Martha Koome meeting and have us sitting in as far as why court cases zinaendanga times against the government? Honestly, what do you even make of it? The sound of it actually sounds so bad because the president, the chief justice, the speakers, these are very independent wings of government. No one should seek anyone's approval in as much as how they do their duties. They should do their duties free of any intimidation, free of any form of direction or coercion. But what do you make of this meeting? Why should the president meet the chief justice? Or what importance will it have in as far as the cases in courts are concerned? Will it equally not tinker with the justice process here in Kenya? What do you make of it, Bwana Brother Benson?
That is going to interfere with the justice because there is a process where there's a process in which if the judge is kind of like corrupt, that should be followed. So how should you go and negotiate if you know, if president, for instance, he has agencies that give him information about the judges, if at least he has evidence against any judicial officer, you know, there's a process that should be initiated. But how are you going to negotiate on if for instance, you know, this judge is corrupt and you are going to negotiate? What are you going to negotiate about? So are you going to negotiate to tell him that you should not make ruling that are against my policies, or what are you going to negotiate on? You know, so to me, I don't think it's a very good move. Yeah. So that's CJ. Maybe they know what they are doing, but on somebody that like me, I do not have any legal background, but it doesn't make sense to me. You know, and that's how like we make our institutions, especially like independent institution, collapses. Because even if you look at constitution, there's a way in which the three arms of the government works. There's the legislature, there's the judiciary, and there's the executive. You know, and the executive does not have power over all these arms of the government. You know, and somewhere also that I feel sometimes we usually go wrong. You know, the head of the state is the CEO. Yeah. But is the CEO of the country, yeah? But he does not have power over other arms of the government, yeah? So the other arms of the government are independent, you know, yeah? Because even if you look at it in entirety, all the arms of the government, you know, that's the government. No, it's the government. The government comprises of those three, but the president does not have power over them, but he is like the CEO of the country, you know. So he cannot order maybe the judiciary to do what he wants or order the parliament to do what they want, you know. So what is going to happen, actually, I don't know how will be interpreted, but just to let you know, next week on 24th, I will be having Advocate Willis, the Picky Bonky, yeah?
Yeah.
So we can ask him about that because he has like a legal framework and he has a legal mind. He can answer as well. So that is something I will raise with him.
All right. Equally, you still owe me a sit down with a prof and now with Pinky Ponky. How you do that?
I told you to call me. You did not call me. I called you and you said you're calling me back. So
I'll
call me back.
definitely do that. I'll definitely do that, my brother. But then again, when you look at it, how fair is it when one team meets a referee without the other team meeting the referee? How is it fair?
It's very unfair. Even if it's very unfair. I can say it's very unfair. How in the first place are you going to which means you're going to give your demands? This is what I want. Yeah, because like if president feels like his policies are being derailed, yeah, and now he feels that the judiciary is not doing what they should be doing. But remember, the president does he follow the law or the constitution, the process? Yeah, can he ask himself why is it that these my processes are being are being put on hold? Did I follow the due process? So that is something that he has to ask himself. Again, he has the attorney general. If he feels so, attorney general should go and appeal. Yes.
All right. But Alex, how fair is it when one team meets the referee without the other team being involved? And what happens next time we have a case? Will we ever trust the judgment that it was fair? It wasn't compromised. It wasn't directed, or rather, it wasn't an influenced decision by either the judge or by the president. What do you make of it?
Mr. Jakes, can you hear me?
Quite well.
Yeah, first of all, it was illegal to put Isaac Ruto in the Judicial Service Commission. He has no legal background, and the Judicial Service Commission is the prefect, whereby first, when you have Gachagua right now, he has a complaint against Esther, I don't know if it's Esther Mwangi, you go to. So how do you put somebody like Isaac Ruto to be part of Judicial Service Commission in a legal position whereby the most important decisions are made? So Ruto did an illegality. Now, when you ask me how I feel about what is happening, I will tell you that I feel that it is there is deceit that is going on. Martha Koome is not honest. There is duplicity. We are being duplied to a point whereby they want us to be morons, that we accept anything. Thirdly, it's the mockery of it's the mockery of the judiciary. Okay, because if you look articles that have been written by senior lawyers and statements that have been given by senior lawyers, you know, they ask, why meet Ruto? What are you going to talk? Now, there are two things that are interesting here. And you could see them openly. The first thing is that Ruto isn't invited, but Ruto says he's the one who is going to lead the meeting. And then, because he has captured the legislature, now he's saying the speakers should be part of it. Now, did Martha Koome invite the speakers if the meeting was to be there? Is Ruto honest? Why is he going with the speakers? Does he have a good intention? So Ruto, 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 Ruto is mendacious. Is the most deceitful person. You cannot sit down and talk with him with honesty and come with the right solution. What's the purpose of Wetangula going to that meeting? And what is Wetangula's purpose in that meeting? Because I think Martha Koome wanted to tell the president that the attacks on the judiciary does not help. Because Ruto is threatening that he has power to sack some judges. And is ready to sack some judges and put his own judges. Remember when he became the president, Uhuru had not filled some judges. So he took some judges and put them and had hired them. So those are already his judges. But there are other judges who are independent, like just Oduga, Mbumbi, the ones who have been neutral when there's a case with the opposition. It's not like they favor the opposition, but because the government is harassing the opposition, they gave opposition what was due to them. So Ruto is threatening to fire, and that's what Martha wanted to tell him. But now, Wetangula being there and others, the topic is going to change. Martha is going to be overpowered. So if I was Martha, I will cancel this meeting right away. Because the speech you just put of Ruto saying that he's going to lead the meeting from the front, and he complained about the judges. He complained about the house levy. He complained about his projects. So Ruto doesn't want to be challenged when he does illegality.
All right.
So that's why we are saying Martha must stop this meeting ASAP. Because if he allows this meeting with these crooks that are going there, she's going to be overpowered. And as Baba said, judiciary is going to be compromised and the country is going to be compromised. Ahmed Nasir said the judiciary is going to go to bed with the government, and therefore dictatorship will start. Let me stop there.
Now, when you look at this, Bwana Alex, what do we take to court? We take to court processes that we feel were not followed. The due process wasn't followed. We go to court because we saw some laws passed in haste in parliament. We saw how our MPs at times are compromised. So when you bring their leaders, the speakers of these both houses, where at times Kenyans feel that some of the laws that were passed, some of the bills that were passed either in parliament or in the Senate were really they didn't have Mwananchi centered in them. They were pushed. They were either coerced by the president. You remember during the financial bill, one of the things the president said is nione moja mwenye atajaribu kuoppose, all right? And the MPs, maybe out of fear or out of being intimidated, they passed the bill. All right. Some even skived from attending the processes, or rather the sittings in parliament. Now you have the speakers coming in. You have the chief justice coming in. What are you implement? What picture are you showing? Is it that everything you do is almost flawless? There is no crime in it. There are no issues to raise. Does it mean that William Ruto and the processes that have to be undertaken for anything to pass either in parliament or in the Senate, they are flawless, that no one needs to go to court. And if you go to court, you're either corrupt or compromised. Is it even fair to look at it from that angle that judges ought not to rule the way they rule because are unfair, because they are corrupt, and because they are so? We need to have a sitting with Martha Koome. We need to have a sitting with some of the places that we take to court, the parliament. Those are times some of these bills that we have them challenged in the courts have already passed through the houses, both houses, some of them. So how fair is it, Mr. Alex, when you have such a sitting?
You know, uh, Ruto took over the legislature,
Mhm,
and the legislature has been compromised.
mhm,
And the people from Kenya Kwanza can do anything, and nothing will happen to them.
mhm,
For example, you saw what Osoro did. So
mhm,
you can see subtle dictatorship, whereby he says, nione mtu ambaye atakataa kuvote for this.
mhm,
And you know the consequences are there.
mhm,
Unanyimwa CDF.
mhm,
So the MPs voted because they knew watanyimwa CDF, and their constituents need CDF. That's why
mhm,
he changed CDF to be called uh, National Government CDF.
mhm,
So you can you can understand how dictatorship starts,
mhm,
and you can understand how it starts eating other institutions,
uh-huh,
so that you become powerful. So
uh-huh,
the chief justice is just a figurehead.
uh-huh,
The speaker is just a figurehead.
uh-huh,
The chief justice is just the figurehead.
mhm.
So he's powerful than all these people. And
All
if
right.
he's powerful than all these people,
Uh-huh,
they pay homage to him.
uh-huh,
And that's how now this country is headed to.
mhm,
We must do everything to stop this beating.
mhm,
If we don't do that, you will see
uh-huh,
the consequences that will start with it. You will see
uh-huh,
some of the borrowings that are going to to the borrowings that are going to be done. You will see the sacking of judges
uh-huh,
that have been neutral and progressive.
uh-huh,
You will see
uh-huh.
extra extrajudicial killing. If you are against the government, you cannot leave.
All right. Now,
So
this. Okay. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
I wanted to bring in something else that Jimmy Orengo had to say, and it's interesting before even I bring at Wally what he had to say. But the president seems not to care what his naysayers are saying. He seems not to be moved. He really wants to push the agenda that, hey, our courts are corrupt. The processes that we have been having are mad with corruption. But the question is, he has won some cases, or rather, cases that he has been involved with, he has won them. Does it mean that equally we should also raise an eye on the cases he has won, including that ruling on the presidential petition? What do you make of that before I bring in Jimmy Orengo?
You know, the cases that Ruto have won are suspicious. And Ruto never does things in the right way. He always does things in a funny way. And even how the ruling of the presidential and the language that was used, obviously you could see that he bought the people and he told them, abuse these people. And Martha Koome was compromised from the very beginning. That's why I don't trust her. Even in these talks, I don't trust her. I don't think he's there for the lawyers.
All right.
And the judges and the judiciary. Because if he was there, and let me tell you something that you may not like. I suspect at some point, Ruto and Martha Koome must have slept together. The way they act.
Really?
No, the way they act.
Really?
Remember during the inauguration.
No, I'm laughing is because
remember during the inauguration, Martha Koome was touching Ruto like more than Rachel was touching Ruto. And it was in public, and it was inauguration. It was very embarrassing. So it look that is my personal view. That these people have a relationship that has compromised the country. If it was in this country, investigation should have been done, and if it was found that that was the case, both of them should be fired, so that you get people who don't have relationships that can compromise the constitution.
All right. Now, I don't know if you remember that during vetting, one of the things that Martha Koome was vocal to say was that she will find a way to always talk with the executive. She'll always find a way to negotiate with the executive if things don't go her way. Now, this is something she told us even before she was appointed the Chief Justice. Is she living to her words that she will always find a way to have a proper working environment? Of course, this coming at the wake of the justice system and the executive were at loggerheads. You remember how CJ Maraga and how President Uhuru had challenges working together. So while during her vetting, she said she'll find a way, including as a mother. In fact, I remember her words. As a mother, she'll find a way to talk. To bring in a form of agreement between her and, of course, the executive. Is she reliving what she promised she'll be doing?
Yes, Martha Karua, I'm sorry, Martha Koome was not qualified to become the CJ, the chief justice. Her points were so low, but the handshake brothers wanted to make history, and they chose Aumba to be the first chief justice. That was the mistake that was done. The person who got the highest ranking marks should have been chosen. But the handshake brother, this is the mistake. This is the mistake of Uhuru and Raila. They chose a woman so that they can make history. Martha Koome, from the beginning of her career, she has been very corrupt, using wrong language, mischievous, and she had no moral authority. Everybody can tell you. So she never qualified for this seat. So the mistake we made was to make a first woman to become what? Chief Justice. We could have taken Martha Karua, somebody who already had integrity.
But by then Martha Karua was eyeing to be a presidential hopeful. How that have worked out?
No, you can be, but you can be told, like Abraham Lincoln, how he operated. He took his enemies and gave them ministerial posts. People who are running against him. So, if we wanted to make history, we could have taken a woman of integrity, whose past, honestly, who showed integrity. But Martha Koome history, I want you to read it, or I can Google it and show you. She made so many mistakes as a junior member of the judiciary. So she never qualified. It is the handshake brothers who made the mistake to make history. And you remember how tulisifu huyo mama, tukasema mama atafanya kazi nzuri kuliko wanaume. And you know, we had one of the best chief justices. So we were trying to fill big shoes. Maraga was liked by people because of his stand. Whether you are a Kalenjin, whether you are a Costarian, whether you are Kisi, whether you are Luo, whether you are a Kikuyu, he made an impact that he left a legacy that had never been there. So filling those shoes was difficult. So they wanted to make history and say, after this, we brought. And you know, she pretended at first, and she really worked well with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You remember that? Until Bomas, until presidential petition, that is when we started knowing her true character. And she has shown it. She has shown it consistently. The Martha Koome we knew during Uhuru's presidency is not the Martha Koome we know now.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Akina Alphonse, not Alphonse. Alphonse Mbasa, I see you. Asante sana. Penyagaka, I see you. Thank you very, very much. I see many commenting. I see many following upper live. Thank you very much to participate on the show. As I've told you, unaenda kwa link ambao umetumia hapo kwa comment section. Hiyo link ukiiguza inakutuma moja kwa moja hadi place inaitwa StreamYard. Ukifika hapo unafanya nini? Asha camera, asha mic, andika jina alafu click enter, itakuleta moja kwa moja hadi kwa hii show. All right, now this is what James Orengo had to say.
Intimidate the courts. Nobody is above the law in the Republic of Kenya. Nobody. God alone and the people of Kenya are the ones who are supreme. And we'll continue to say that. Tutaendelea kusema ya kwamba rais hako juu ya sheria, yuko chini ya sheria. Na lazima awache
koti zetu zifanye kazi, mahakama zifanye kazi bila kusumbuliwa na wanasiasa ama watu ambao wako kwa administration. Bila koti ama mahakama huru, tunaweza kuwa na matatizo makubwa sana hapa Kenya. Kwa hivyo, pamoja na kwamba tunajua ya kwamba kuna majudges ambao pengine wako na tabia mbaya, pengine pia wana hizo shida za corruption, lakini hiyo haiwezi kutumiwa ili kuvurugana na mahakama. Tunataka mahakama ambazo zinaweza kufanya.
All right. Now, Bwana Alex, let me ask you, with this form or style of leadership William Ruto is employing in our country, how do we avoid a rise of a dictator? Because if you can be able to intimidate the parliament, intimidate judges, intimidate the court processes, how then, if he's the one checking parliament, the one checking judiciary, the question now will be, who will ever check him? Because he kind of wants to live above everyone else. He wants to be almost the alpha and omega of everything. He seems to know it all. Can't tell him nothing. Can't correct him. Whatever he comes with is almost above board. Is perfect. Is the right decision. He cannot be challenged. What form of a leader do you make him to be? What is he turning out? What is he cooking himself to become?
Jakes, Ruto is a shrewd politician.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine once told me that he will make sure he invites you to State House and give you so much goodies and show you how much
I will just push your back.
he likes you.
Thank you. I will put it back. It's okay. Don't get afraid. I will put it back.
How much he likes you. And by the time you get out of State House, you are already confused. And how that happens is that he acts humble. And he talks nicely. He treats you the best when you are with him. So it's difficult for us to deal with Ruto, especially. You see, people love power. Jakes, people love power. Even if you get an opportunity to go State House, ukule vizuri, baada ya hiyo upewe kazi, you will totally change. And that's what he does. So it is difficult to deal with this guy. But how you can deal with him best, what he fears ni maandamano. And let me tell you one thing. If ODM continues to do what it does, from Kisii, Migori, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, it mobilizes its people, registers its people. It goes to coast. And when we call maandamano, people come out. The man will humble himself. Remember when we went to, there's a maandamano we did that was so tough. By the time he was going to Tanzania, he wrote a tweet that ndugu yangu Raila, unajua mali unanipata, tafadhali kuja tuongee. Do you remember that maandamano we had? So the only language that will stop Ruto is not negotiation. Ni maandamano kali that stops his projects and people refuse that. We don't want your house, affordable housing here. We don't want your projects here. Go do them in Nandi.
All right.
And that's what will make him fear and humble himself and start doing his work in a better way. But I want us to remove this guy. I want us to remove this guy because it is possible. The way I've been seeing people go, these registrations, the ODM. And I think the Wiper Party should also do an exercise of massive registration once we finish. Because Martha Karua, it will be difficult for her to do registration in the central. You know that. Because of our party. But Kioni, because people already are coming back to Jubilee, Kioni can be able to do it.
All right.
So I'm finishing by saying that the only way is to mobilize, register people, prepare them, make them feel that they belong to Kenya, and Kenya is going in a wrong way, and then Baba Tagaze maandamano. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm equally joined by Cyrus Osano. I'm equally with my able friend and brother Melchizedek Othiambo and Mr. Guru in the house. Now, Atwoli equally has dived into the matter. This is what Atwoli
has come to us demanding any bribe. And that's why I say that if I will have an opportunity to meet His Excellency the President, I will kindly ask him to, as I support him, to protect our Employment and Labor Relations Court, because it's a court that is dear to me. I fought for years for the expansion of the court, which was realized during President Kibaki's time. We have this court in every region: Kisumu, Eldoret, Mombasa, Nyeri, and Nakuru. And Kericho too, because of the trade unions' demand during those previous years. And this is a court that protects the weak. Therefore, we will be on forefront to protect this court. Protecting the court does not mean we support corruption. We support the president 100% on corruption and weeding out corruption in judiciary and other departments as well that are public departments. Like now at the airport, there is a heavy corruption at the airport. I have brought it under the attention of the Minister of Transport, Honorable Koome. Foreigners are asked to pay some money so that they can get out with their goods at our airport. So there are several processes where corruption is denting our image as a country. I want to support the judges, and most the principal judge who mentioned that we have foreigners who are investors, and when they come here, they don't adhere to our industrial relations machinery or our laws in this country, labor laws and the rest. They want to implement the laws of their origin countries, which are foreign laws and which cannot be accepted in this country.
All right, that is Atwoli speaking on that issue. Let me begin with you, Bwana Osano. Osano, let me ask you, do you agree with the president's sentiments that they need to meet with Martha Koome and negotiate? You know, they have a sitting, they talk about unajua how cases have been challenging, especially for the government to win. Do you agree with such a sitting where the president meets the Supreme Court judge and then they have a meeting? Will we even have justice in our country?
First of all, hi to everyone on the panels. One thing I need to know.
Oh my.
Of ours.
I think he's back. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see you. Umekofu ukajitoa, but umerudi. Endelea.
Can everyone
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, Osana. All right, I seems to be having a challenge with him, but I'll work on it as he comes back. Melchizedek, what do you make of the government requesting to meet the judiciary? Osana, I don't know if you're now good. Are you good?
I think I'm good, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead before I bring in Melchizedek for the same.
First of all, one thing we all want to know, like, what's the agenda? What's going to be in that meeting? What are they going to talk about?
All right.
Because for one, this is a president who defied the court orders from the judiciary and termed them corrupt. So is what's going to be the agenda in this meeting? If this lady called for the meeting, what's going to be the agenda in that meeting? That's number one. Number two, we have a sitting president who is trying to bring back like a dictatorship. He's kind of like trying to lead to govern Kenya the way Moi did. Like whoever tries to raise a voice against what he wants to do, you are silent. He was seen public.
All right, again, it has happened. Osano, please kindly work on your internet. I think it's the challenge. But let me come to you, Melchizedek. What do you make of the meeting between the president and Martha Koome? Is it a fair meeting? Are we almost trying to say that when a player meets a referee before a match, the other player should not complain and the game will be fair? Do you see that happening in our courts?
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say hi to everyone. I hope everyone is okay, even though everything is tough, but we cope with the life. On my side, I'm saying that the meeting that is going to take place is like there is nothing going to take place because you remember when these people or the opposition, who is now we call it in quotes president, we bring everything on the table, but the person that is going to meet the president is the one who ruled and said it was not fair. So which means something that is not going to happen is like they are going to talk their own thing the way they talked last time, and everything is going to win, is going to be down, and there is nothing is going to happen. As my honorable say, I know he's there. Sometimes he's not coming on the television, but I know him because he said that what will make Ruto to calm down is wananchi. Because you see, even in the parliament is down. The judiciary is down. The only thing remains is the public. And this public, if we don't take a seriousness, then also we are going to be down because you see, is trying to bring everything is under his court so that no one should talk.
We wadau, mnafanywa aje na internet? All right, as Melchizedek is coming back, msikanyange waya, msikanyange waya.
Kuna mtu anakanyaga waya mahali, kuna mtu ama ni honorable.
Aendelea.
Okay. So,
I will never do that, man. I love this show.
Yeah, okay. So according to me, on my side, I'm seeing nothing going on there because if you meet a referee before you go to the pitch, which means maybe there is something that you are going to do under the curtain, and this is going to happen. Whether we like it or not, they are going to talk their language. Maybe they will be given something small to put in their pocket. Then that issue will finish. When this judiciary is serious with the Kenyan, they should tell Ruto to bring the evidence on the table so that everyone should see that these are the things that we are talking about. He's talking about the corruption. The corruption itself is even him also is a corrupt because you cannot tax everyone. Then you are coming in front of people say that people are corrupt. So the corruption is coming from everyone. So the only thing that will finish it when he come publicly and say so and so are doing this one and these are the list. So this one should go out first before we start talking. But if he doesn't do that, he should not come and tell us that he's ready to meet the judiciary once is the one that is bringing that corruption to become the way it is.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. I'll be coming to you, Melchizedek, with lots of questions and, of course, your take on some other issues. But, Mr. Guru, I'm happy to see you. Hope you're well, and I hope you are doing quite fine. Now, what do you make of the meeting between the President and Martha Koome? Is it even allowed? Is it even necessary? How fair will justice be after this? Will people ever trust our courts ever again? If a president can meet a court judge prior to any court ruling, what do you make of such a meeting? Would it really be good for the country? What image will it portray to our nation, given that these are two independent bodies? Of course, they work interdependently, but then again, they're not supposed to meet and discuss issues that affect Mwananchi, especially if the president has been sued, if the president has been taken to court, and then the president has a sitting with the judge to negotiate maybe a ruling. Is it even fair? Is it even allowed? Should that be the new justice processes in our country? What do you make of it, Bwana Guru?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say hi to Alex as my buddy. I also say hi to Melchizedek and Cyrus. Now, if you remember very well, the time that Ruto came to power, the first thing he promised was that he was going to sign in the 6 judges whom Uhuru had refused to sign in. And we do not know even up to today why he had refused to do so. And it is believed that it was out of the intelligence reports that he had. And then he also promised to add 3 billion to the budget of the judiciary. So you can see a deliberate plan to have judiciary have a friendly hand towards the executive. It's like saying, I am coming in, I've extended the hand, and you should also play in the same rule or play ball. Now, things have not gone that way. You know, you are aware. Some of the things that have been brought before the courts have to do with the projects that the government is putting on the ground, like housing, health scheme, and so on and so forth. Somebody I've heard here ask what they are going to talk about. He came clearly and saying they'll have discussion on government projects and why the courts have to intervene and block. So already he's saying to Patri what his plan is. However, you know, politics is such that you, before negotiation or before talk, you try to weaken the persons that you'll be negotiating with. So you just have to add salt to their raw wounds. And in this case, because like any other institution, the judiciary has some rotten eggs in there. So you use that as a blanket to try to tell you, hey, you are not as clean as you as you may portray yourself to be. So that is the background. The problem is that the CJ has said they wrote and say asking for a meeting, and therein lies the problem. Because you are aware crucial judgments are coming up very, very soon on the issue of the health scheme, I think, and also on the housing levy issue. Those cases are active, and they are coming up for review or for judgment in a short while. I think there is one that is falling. Is it Thursday? This Thursday, I think. Now,
No, it's 25th of January.
Now, if that is the background, then you can see an attempt by the executive to influence the outcome of the judgment. And the most scaring thing here is this. If the executive meets with the judiciary and the legislative arm, like he said, it is him, it is Ruto, Koome, Kingi, and Wetangula. Okay? So, first of all, notice that the two speakers are KK.
Correct.
And then there is Ruto. And then Koome. That's why I agree with Raila and Stephen Kalonzo that is the most risky thing that can happen, especially because there are contending issues in this country which are not adjudicated fully, and there are several contending parties on some of these matters, including pronouncing which is the majority party. Okay? So it is a very tricky situation, and that's why Raila suggested today that if such a meeting were to happen, it should have an expanded membership of sorts, that more prayers should come and know exactly what is this that is being discussed. Because the risk here is, if it is you scratch my back, I scratch your back, then the judiciary will have been totally compromised. You understand?
Yeah.
And it is not a good thing, especially in a country where there are many contending points where we go to court to find the way forward. There is no way Madam Koome will meet with Ruto and his two speakers of KK and expect to get respect from the other side of Kenyans who are represented by Raila, Kalonzo, and others. The risk is that they will be seen to be playing in that league of Ruto in exclusion, and it could even bring a feeling among some Kenyans that this is a judiciary that is playing politics. Unfortunately, that is the way we are. The judiciary also exists in a political space, and you cannot block how people think and how they perceive things. And it is said that justice should not only be done, but also seen to be done.
Correct.
Yes.
All right. Yes, Bwana Alex.
Guru, I have a good question for you.
Yes. Yes.
Madam Koome wrote a letter to Ruto and invited Ruto. Ruto has decided to invite Kingi and Wetangula.
Yes.
What can you say about that?
I think it's because he knows that these are his what would I call them? I don't want to use a bad. I don't want to use a bad word, but they
let's
are,
call them his
they are his
lieutenants.
lieutenants. They are his lieutenants. I would have used some other ones, but I don't want to use. But they are his lieutenants by the fact that they were put there by the KK regime. They are the ones who fought for them. So they owe the positions that they hold to Ruto. So therefore, by inviting them, he knows that he will just be able to back up and get a better bargain. They could push the judiciary to the corner. And notice that Wetangula and Kingi, they are lawyers. So they are not people who will go there with an empty head. I think that also is crucial.
All right. Bwana Cyrus, I don't know if you are good, but you asked me a question that what will be the meeting really entail? But then again, does it even have to happen? Should we have a meeting where we are discussing court cases that the government have been taken to court? Do we even need to have such a meeting with the president and the chief justice to discuss?
In the first place, that meeting should not happen. That's one. Number two, I'm seeing a situation where the president is going to see those guys down and tell them, this is what I want you to do for me. There's not going to be a discussion that we are ruling this in according to the law, or because already it's a case in contention, like you said, it's supposed to be ruled and a judgment made. So why it beats logic? Why should someone who is being questioned going to meet with the person who's going to make a ruling about the question? The only thing I believe is going to happen now here is that she's going to make the chief justice and all those other people in that whatever the meeting they're going to have, if it's going to happen, he's trying to go and influence them and tell them exactly what he wants them to do, which is not supposed to happen. That's aside. And I think, like I was saying before, my internet let me down. We are having a president who's going to have everything. It's either his way or the highway. And Kenya should not go that route. Because what's going to happen now, I look at all the appointments of the CSs, for example. He has all the people who cannot question him. The deputy president cannot say anything, like cannot question, cannot even go represent the president wherever he's supposed to be. Ruto is a very cunning guy. He did all this on purpose. That he wants everybody on his side, and now this particular meeting is going to make even the judicial side of it, the judicial system side of the government, to be on his side.
All right.
Such that if he wakes up every morning and decides what to do, he just does it. And that's not the Kenya we want. But how do we get ourselves out of this? Because we are going to, this is going to be shoved down our throats, whether we like it or not. If we go the maandamano route, the young people are going to be in the streets are going to be shot and killed, and nothing's going to happen about it. But still, we have to do it. Nothing comes easy. We have to do it. We cannot sit back, be intimidated. Okay, all the systems are going to be intimidated, but the mwananchi who put you there cannot be intimidated. The only thing we can go up in arms, whatever it takes. We have to do it. Others, if we get everything the way he wants to get everything like going his way, he's going to rule the country like with what do you call it? With an iron fist. And that's not what we want right now. This is a different. This it's a 20, we are beyond the 21st century actually, but we are being ruled like we. It's not nice. It's not right. It's not right.
All right.
This meeting should not happen. But because it doesn't make any sense, why should it happen? What are you going to discuss? That you did not have to rule against me, or you are going to do A, B, C, D as I want.
Interesting questions you are asking, Bwana Cyrus, but I see Guru and Melchizedek raising their hand. Let me begin with Melchizedek. What do you say, you?
Okay, you ask a very good question, and I just want to say something. It can take time, and it will take long. But you remember, we do say that everything that is taking place slowly by slowly give up good fruit. These are the people. Martha Koome is the one who bring us in this mess from the word go, if I'm not wrong. Because if she was the one that can make Kenya to be better, that the day she could have done it. But she said that she's a Christian and they want to make things clear. But things that they make clear is now the worst that even no one can talk about. Another thing, when these two KK people meet with the Koome, which means they are the partner in crime. Three partners in crime meet to make a negotiation. Which kind of negotiation is that? When three people are killing, and you're saying that they are going to sit down and make a difference. So I just want to say that it will take time, but umesema ya kwamba maandamano, people will die. But it's better people die, but we change our country to be country, because we are really afraid to come back to our country, because when you reach an airport, what is taking place there, it tells a lot. I remember when I was coming, maybe I was coming home some months ago, I saw that I can even carry my 3 phone to bring to my family. But right now, if you carry even 2, 3, 4,
even 2 pairs of shoes,
it's you are finished. So there is no need. There is no thing that we are negotiating about something that is. We are already seeing that this is something that is taking place. We need to go for it. Even in the Bible, say that the kingdom of heaven will suffer by violence. Yeah. So it's better we suffer by that violence, but we make things straight. The only place that remains, that I will continue saying it, is wananchi. If we don't take this thing serious, judiciary will go down, the parliament will go down, then we will remain hanging. If Ruto say that everybody should die tomorrow, everybody will die. So let us not wait until we reach that point. That's what I have to say in after the
Guru, your hand as well was up.
Yes, I want to say that this looks to be a bigger scheme than many may think, because first of all, notice the delivery. you intimidate. Of course, we know that corruption has been there, and it is there in the judiciary, it is there among the MPs, it is there even for those who work at the executive level. So this is a disease that is cutting across all the departments or all the arms of government. But you can see the Ruto Shirundre uses the corruption card to first of all engage these people politically, and that being the case, they come down to that level because he said they want to have a conversation. The problem is this: the 2010 constitution has processes of what we should do should we have a problem with the judiciary. There is a Judicial Service Commission where you can walk in and put your complaints against any of the judges that you think has not been fair, or let me correct that, has been bribed. Or, you are also aware this is the same man who totally rejected ombudsman in the BBI. So for him, it is about control. And in this case, he wants to kind of have a give and take, which is a very serious matter in the judiciary, because you do not have a judiciary that operates on a give and take. A judiciary operates on what is written law and the constitution. So all this argument about corrupt judges and so on and so forth, they are just politics, though there are those who are corrupt. And in fact, I think one was kicked out the other day, Chitembwe. So you can see there is a process. As long as you take a case with merit, like Sonko did against Chitembwe, decisions are made. So this blanket condemnation of a whole body of judiciary is not warranted at all. Because if nobody is as knowledgeable or has knowledge and intelligence than Ruto, because he's given the profile of everyone, what he's doing. So if he wants to fix, he can fix everybody who has been involved in corruption in the judiciary by taking the intelligent gathered against these people and fixing them at the point of Judicial Service Commission.
All right.
So what is this negotiation meant to be? More so, he signed in 6 judges said to have had problems. So what has changed? Yes, what has changed?
What has changed? Interesting question. Before I come to you, Bwana Cyrus and Bwana Alex, allow me to have Bwana Penya Gaka. Bwana Penya Gaka, hope you're well. How are you, my old good friend?
I'm good. Jakes, what about when I contribute to this wonderful, but it's not the work of the court to make the laws, the work of the parliament to make the laws. So if she called for to talk with Ruto, and Ruto saw it fit to go with the speakers of both the Senate and the House, so be it. But it is have to be very clear that these judges are not put there to make the laws. This is an activist court. These are activist courts. So we both. I mean, I personally agree with what the media, Ruto going to meet them because he has explained fully that he had uh, he had put in his when he was running for president all the things that he was going to do for the Kenyan people, which was part of it was the housing and the taxation and all that. And if you want to change that, you go to parliament. But you say the parliament has been bought. So, but it's not the work of the court to do the work of parliament, and that's illegal as it should be, because the court's job is to interpret what the parliament has passed or what is in the constitution. So if they have to meet, so be it. Let us wait for the results. Lakini, all the gentlemen that are talking to your show today, they have been ODM from day one, and they are telling us what ODM was supposed to tell us, but they lost. So if UDA won the elections, we have 5 years to do the mess. But in that 5 years, you can you can win, you can beat the UDA. And right now, they should be really focusing on IBC. Nobody's focusing on what the relevant issues should be, especially the formation of IBC, so that you can have clean people like Maraga to run that organization to where you can win elections fair and square. If you
All
say
right.
Chipkate, all for the other people. Okay, thank you, yeah, Jex. Appreciate your help. Appreciate your show.
I'll be coming to you right now, Buanapen, but I'm seeing Alex's hand. But you have to give it to Nyagaka. He has a way. Even if the topic has nothing to do with elections, he, he has he has an old way of bringing UDA politics in a show. Totally, and but it's well, we understand you,
So,
Buanapen. They
so
are
Jack,
passionate about this government. Now, Bwana Alex, I'm sure you have things to raise with Nyagaga and many of the sentiments he has raised. But even as you respond to him, I want to ask you this question: why is it that the president is only interested with the cases he has lost? Why as well can't he ask the DPP why do we have cases collapsing in court? Why can't he equally have a sitting with him? Because we don't just want to see the judges being grilled. We want also to see those who take cases to courts and have these cases collapse. Like for example, the Kimwarel Dam case collapsed because of the ineffectiveness of the DPP. Now, why is he not calling out other arms or other institutions who are marked with how court cases happen and how the processes also take place? Why hasn't he equally called the DPP in the same? And why is he also not involving himself in other cases that are important to Kenyans? Corruption cases are important to Kenyans. Cases that we have vested interest from the public. We equally want to see some progress. As much as he's saying he's fighting corruption, is it only the judges that are corrupt? Don't we have corrupt parliamentarians? Don't we have corrupt CS cabinets in his own team? Don't we have corrupt people, who will also be taken to court? Yeah, does he want to influence how their cases will be determined? Why is it almost targeted to the referee? His condemnation is almost targeted to the referee, not to every other person, including the technical bench. The technical bench here means the DCI, the DPP, the Inspector General of Police, people who equally are important in any case proceeding in our country. What do you make of that? And equally, what do you make of what Penyagaka is saying?
let me start by this. The other day, Chirchir had a corruption case and he was found culpable. Chiregai has accused Murkomen openly, and he say he has evidence that he took 100 million bribe in China. So there are people who are surrounding the president who have massive corruption cases. But the president is mum about it. Okay? Now the question comes, why is he interested in these petty projects that are suspicious? That even some people like Boni Aluale, Kihika, people within UDA have said the housing project is a scam. That's the problem. So I believe the housing project is a scam. And he's so desperate to get that money by all necessary means. Because that will be a lot of money. Because ukikata watu, that 2% or 3% in their paycheck, civil servants, that's a lot of money within a month. And if you do it in 12 months, that will be already money that you can campaign with. Okay? So the president is glued into these things because he knows how much money he wants to get from people so that he can add with the other amount of money and have a formidable campaign in 2027.
All right.
The whole issue is not about houses. The whole issue is pocketing this money. Because some UDA members ranking have said this is a scam. So the only reason that the president is glued on this and is mad that it's not being approved is because he knows how much money he may get within a month. Somebody calculated that amount. I won't say how much it was here, but ilinishtua per month, how much money they are going to get from corporate and the civil servants and other companies, simple companies.
All right.
So I wanted to check on Penny. Penny, you are my dad, but you show geriatrics features all the time. Who told you that you won, now you can do anything? People can win and have wrong policies that can be taken to court. The fact that you won does not mean everything you do is right. The housing project is wrong. The president meeting Koome is wrong. What Koome needs to do, as Ahmed Nasir said, he should fire all corrupt judges. It's not the president who's going to tell him, fire this one, fire this one, fire this one. It seems that Koome is incompetent to know her job. Thirdly, Mr. How did you know the agenda that they are going? Because you said the agenda that they are going to speak. Nobody knows the agenda, but you said the agenda here. How did you know the agenda? Penny, how did you know the agenda that they are going to speak?
You can guess.
Oh,
It's a guesswork on my part.
So we do guesswork here. So we start debating here with guesswork. Jake, so should we start debating here with guesswork or with facts? Guru, Guru, from today, let's start guessing things here instead of having facts. Because Penny is saying you can guess. Penny told us that the agenda that the president and Koome is going to have is this. I have asked him, how did he know? He's saying you can guess. So from today, our debate here should be guesswork.
All right. All right. Now, I want to come to you, Wanaguru, before I give even Penny a chance of reply as he digests what he has been told. Uh, Mr. Guru, I want to ask you this. Why is the president keen in meeting the judges, yet cases collapse in court because of no proper work done by the DPP? Why hasn't he complained of what happened to Aisha Juma's case? What happened to his own DP's case? What happened to their role case? Why hasn't he complained when they collapse? Should we only complain when he doesn't get his way? Uh, he's almost sounding as though if it is not his way, any other way is a wrong way. What do you make of him?
You know, even as much as we may want to sympathize with the judiciary, they have actually played into the hands of the executive quite a number of ways since Ruto came to power. One is that some of the CSs that he appointed, their cases rapidly collapsed in courts, and it was never explained how that happened. Some were having as many as 7 cases involving the worst kind of crimes that you can ever have. Either rape, misuse of public funds, and so on and so forth. But for them to be accepted as CSAs, those cases were made to collapse. And that could not have happened without the conspiracy with element within the judiciary. Those things have not been explained. I won't mention names here, but you know the CSs I'm talking about. You are also aware the other day the former CS Finance, his case just collapsed on grounds that the witnesses refused, or they were told, or they were induced, we cannot tell, but they did not go to give their evidence. So the case just collapsed. So even as we may want to have sympathy for the judiciary, I do not know how weak the judiciary that Ruto wants, because already that is an indicator that he has a way, or the executive has a way. So I don't know whether he wants to kill it completely, because already he is having his way. Even when you look at the case to do with the housing levy, the court said the matter is illegal. However, continue collecting the levy, and I give you 45 days to go and collect what had made the court pronounce it as unconstitutional. So you can obviously see already a very unholy kind of conspiracy between the two. So I don't know how weak Ruto wants the judiciary to be, because it is already weak.
All right. Alex, I come to you with this. Penyagaka raised an interesting sentiment that the judiciary does not make laws, but it is also true the judiciary interprets or help interpret the law, and of course give justice to the Kenyan people, and of course try to relate the law and what it means by them interpreting. Equally, Parliament makes the law. All right, it's the legislative arm of government that is tasked in making laws. The executive now operate within the set laws. Them meeting, them meeting. Does it mean that now all laws made will be above board, that they don't need to go to court, and anyone who goes to court should know that there are cases, there are challenges in court that they have brought. They will be dead on arrival, given that Parliament will know what to do because it is the arm that makes the law. The courts will know what to do because they are the arm that interprets the law. The executive will know what to do because they're the ones who implement and do all that. But when you think about it, is it not uh, an embarrassment to our nation where a judge is almost directed how to rule? The lawyer, the lawmaking organ is almost directed how to make the laws, but the executive is solely independent and is almost acting above board. It can never make a mistake, it can never go wrong, it can never make a wrong decision, or rather a wrong move. What do you make of such a regime, at such a time where we truly need sanity in all arms of government? What do you make of such?
Jakes, you know, Koome only invited the president. The clip you put there, Ruto is deciding to go with these two gentlemen who are speakers and who are lawyers. And it seems like there are some laws that they want to make. They want to negotiate with Koome. And those laws maybe are draconian laws, because one of the laws that you had last time is they want to make maandamano illegal. That's one of the laws that they wanted to do. So it is suspicious of how these two gentlemen who are not supposed to be in that meeting are going to be in that meeting, and they are speakers of the lower and upper house. This is where legislation is made. This is where laws are made. Bills are made before the president signs for them to be the law. So I can speculate that beyond the house levy, they also want to negotiate that if they make some laws, however good or bad they are, the court should never stop them. That's my sentiment. Because why would the two gentlemen go to see the sea and they were not invited? I want you to put that clip again so that people can see of Ruto talking of the judges and how he's invited, how he himself is going to lead the meeting. You know, Koome invited her. Had invited him, and he said he himself is the one who is going to lead the meeting. And now he calls two men, two gentlemen. Okay, so what does that tell you? There is sabotage, there's coercion that probably is happening here. So this meeting is more than what we. Yeah. So as Penny said that we can guess, I don't want to guess. I want to get facts.
All right. Due to your demand, here we go.
Ready for dialogue with Chief Justice Martha Koome following sustained attacks on the judiciary. The president, who was in a development tour of Nandi County, however, maintained that the judiciary has been taken hostage by corrupt judges that have deep-seated influence in the corridors of justice and who are colluding with cartels to derail government projects. Here's Stephen Latour with that report.
A day after Chief Justice Martha Koome warned that attacks on the judiciary could easily slide the country into anarchy, President William Ruto, who has been leading the onslaught on the judiciary, maintains that his bid to clean up the judiciary is unstoppable. And responding to call for dialogue by Chief Justice Martha Koome to save the country from a leadership friction, President Ruto now says he will lead the talks.
Mimi nataka nimwambie Madam Chief Justice, mimi niko tayari. Mkutano kati ya executive, judiciary, legislature, our leadership, the leadership of the executive, mimi nikiongoza, the leadership of the judiciary, ikiongozwa na Chief Justice, the leadership of the legislature, ikiongozwa na speakers wetu. I am ready for the conversation on how we are going to deal with vested interest, with incompetence, and with especially corruption.
In his address in Emgwen, Tinderet and Aldai constituencies, President Ruto maintained that the judiciary has been held hostage by corrupt judges and judicial officers who have conspired with powerful individuals to sabotage government projects.
And I am going to lead from the front in that conversation, so that we can deal with a monster that is destroying our country, so that we can deal with those, the corrupt, who go to courts. Once they have been investigated, once they know they are going to be charged, they run to court, obtain orders that they cannot be charged for crimes they have committed.
The Chief Justice warned that public utterances against the judiciary for the past few weeks have dented the country's image. Koome said the threats and declarations from the president against judges have continued to lower public confidence in courts, but the president's allies appear unperturbed about Koome's concerns.
Na sisi pale tumemshikilia huyu rais, na sisi kazi yetu ni kumsaidia yeye. Anatuongoza pale, anapanga, yetu ni kutekeleza yale anasema.
It, however, remains unclear on the nature of the dialogue the executive will hold with the judiciary, with the two being independent arms of government.
President William Ruto says he's ready to hold dialogue with the Judicial Service Commission to address what he terms as vested interests and corruption in the judiciary. This comes just a day after Chief Justice Martha Koome said that the judiciary had sought audience with the president, who has in recent days sustained an attack against the judiciary. The opposition, led by ODM leader Raila Odinga, is, however, up in arms over the meeting. Olive Barrows begin our coverage tonight from here.
Following a terse statement on Monday, it appears Chief Justice Martha Koome has finally gotten through to President William Ruto, whom she accused of courting anarchy through his onslaught on the judiciary. The president, who was in Nandi County as part of his campaign to popularize his affordable housing program, said he has accepted the Judicial Service Commission's invitation to meet and address his complaints of corruption in the judiciary.
Tumekubaliana tunakutana so that we can sort out the problem of vested interest, the problem of corruption in the judiciary, in the legislature, in the executive, and ensure that our country, held hostage for a long time by all these vices, we get rid of them so that we can move Kenya forward.
Koome's white flag has, however, triggered the opposite reaction in the opposition, who view her invitation to dialogue with the president as a surrender of the judiciary's autonomy.
The Chief Justice is talking about having a dialogue with the executive, which has got an active case in the court. That is how to compromise justice. Let the judges do their thing independently.
So there's nothing to negotiate. Absolutely. And I would be very disappointed if Chief Justice Koome was to fall for that obvious trick and fall into a trap. So we are witnessing very absurd situations. And we must actually say enough is enough. Please leave the judiciary alone.
The leadership of the Orange Democratic Movement Party, who are on a recruitment drive in Vihiga County, say if there is to be any dialogue on cleansing the judiciary of corruption, it should be a national one.
Leo hii wanakuja wanakutisha ati sasa unaitisha mazungumzo. Kama mtafanya mkutano Ruto na judiciary wa Kenya lazima wakue hapo wajue ni deal gani mna agree hapo.
Are you going to tell the president I am going to fire so and so? Are you going to tell the president I will direct a particular judge to pass this particular judgment? If you want to plunge this country into anarchy, then the judiciary should stop playing politics. So the CJ must stop playing politics and stick to the constitution.
President Ruto has come under mounting criticism over his remarks, claiming that some judges and litigants in cases that did not favor his administration are corrupt. And on Tuesday, he sought to walk the fine line of not admitting fault while demonstrating good grace towards the judiciary.
Of great integrity. And that is why we must deal with those who want to destroy the credibility of our judicial system by their corrupt acts and corrupt decisions and the collaboration that they have with people with vested interest. We must how to get rid of corruption in the judiciary and work with all arms of government to get rid of corruption in the entire government system so that we can take our country forward. Tumekubaliana jameni? Au gasuje mnandi? Mumeelewa maneno? So tumekubaliana tunaenda hiyo safari.
And none of the judges that we have here, as maybe because workers are poor, I don't know, has come to us demanding any bribe. And that's why I say that if I will have an opportunity to meet His Excellency the President, I will kindly ask him to, as I support him, to protect our employment and labor relations court.
While Koome may have succeeded in pleading a ceasefire between the judiciary and the executive, she now has to walk the fine line between independence and interdependence between the arms of government. And given this development, it remains to be seen if Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who claims he has evidence against a judge, will go ahead and submit it before the Judicial Service Commission on Thursday.
All right. Interesting, very interesting. But there are so many things that zimesemwa hapo kwa hiyo clip that are very interesting, yeah. Let me begin with you, Mr. Guru. This is a situation where we find a judge in a court meeting a person who is equally sued in that court. And then this person is saying that in this meeting as well, I'll equally bring in two other guys who are heads of the Senate. When you look at it, will it not erode the confidence that Kenyans have with the justice system? Because we already have lost confidence in the legislature. Will we have anything left for judiciary after, if that meeting happens? Will there be confidence in Kenyans that all laws, or rather all rulings made, are inspired by the rule of law, by fairness, by justice, and it is not marred with any form of intimidation? Bwana Guru.
You know, the tragedy of such meeting is that the judiciary will come under serious scrutiny, not just here, but also abroad, in the sense that the judiciary is seen as a place you escape or you go to seek recourse. And even as an individual, either local or a foreigner who has been violated finds recourse in a court system. And therefore, sometimes you even sue the government. And therefore, if it is felt or is perceived that you cannot get justice against the government which has violated you, then it becomes a serious matter, because you are also aware right now there is an active case involving one of the lawyers where there are two Nigerians who had come to do business, and they have taken a complaints to the court in an ongoing case that some money was being demanded by the lawyer. And the judge has ruled that must be investigated by EACC. So if the courts do not have that confidence to be able to order that things be made clear, and it is felt that you are likely not to get justice, then it becomes a serious issue even with our investors here and foreign direct investors who come here. Because if it is perceived that the executive can interfere with the court process, can come in and put their want, then it becomes a serious matter. Judiciary is not politics. The way the MPs and the senators may play around with things is not the way the judiciary is. And I'm not saying judiciary is always correct. No. What I'm saying is that it's like an arbitrator, where you go before the judicial officers or the judges, the magistrates, to have matters adjudicated. And therefore, the moment it is perceived that one side seems to have favor from the judiciary, that judiciary loses its mandate, its strength, and confidence erodes, and it's actually neutralized. And in fact, the judicial officers of whatever level are reduced to mere either politicians or that kind of thing, that they do not use the law, the written law, to judge cases, but other factors of affiliation, influence, and other political considerations rather than what is right. That one becomes a serious matter. Yes.
All right. I'll be coming to you with another question, even as we near wrapping up. We have about an hour or so. But I see many still commenting about our comment section and others still following. Mr. Honorable Alex, allow me to ask you this. This meeting, if it were to happen, um, will it negate and erode the confidence that many have had in our courts, as much as at times we don't trust their processes and how they rule, but at times they have come out and made earth-shaking and landmark ruling that has even influenced some other jurisdiction. If this was to happen, will it erode the confidence and the trust in the public? And what happens when another litigant who is not government goes to court? Will they feel that they have received justice, or they will go on with suspicion that whatever ruling the courts will be making, they will be mad with a lot of, they'll be suspicious. Suspicion will be raised on all court proceedings henceforth. What will the publics perceive if this was to happen? And from here on, even if we had to have a serious court case, will the public look at it from an angle that the courts will truly deliver justice, or the public will also see that in any case this has been ruled because Ruto sat down with the CJ, and we are not in sync with what the judges have said. This is already a mad ruling because of interference from the executive. So what do you make of it?
You know, after the petition, people lost confidence in our courts. And I tell you, when people had heavy cases, they refused to go to court because they knew they were not going to get justice. The court was no longer the neutral arbitrary that we knew that you could get justice. But over time, people started again to have confidence in the courts because of some few judges who are giving some good ruling. Now, the funny thing is, the moment Martha Koome announced that this meeting is going to be there, people have already lost again confidence in our courts. Before the meeting happens, now I can tell you with confidence, if the meeting happens again, we will go back whereby hata nikikuwa na kesi siwezi enda kotini because it's a controlled court. It's a government court. You've heard Ruto say that some judges, he will remove the judges and appoint judges. So how can you go to such kind of judges? So my answer to your question is the court has lost confidence. Immediately, Martha Koome said, if you could see today comments from Twitter, from Facebook, from our newspapers, from lawyers, from leaders, and you have seen Orengo, Kalonzo, senior counsel, they have already said that the court is losing confidence. So Martha Koome is doing something that is very dangerous. And I don't think she's going to listen to stop this meeting. She's going to go to this meeting because she has already said, and you are the one who reminded me that she will want to have a relationship with the executive. That has been her position. So it looks like she's continuing with this trend. And once you find the judiciary is sleeping in bed with the executive becomes useless. The judiciary becomes useless because cases are controlled from one center. And when you have one unitary center that controls how cases, the cases are judged. What happens is that, what's the purpose of going to court?
Okay.
If now already we have very corrupt judges, and we still go to court. Now, if now we have judges that have been chosen by a government, do you think Kenyans will have confidence with those judges? I will leave it there.
Interesting questions you're raising. Interesting questions you're raising. I equally see I've been joined by my good friend and brother, Bwana Kenya Rebel, goes also by the name Kenya Pessimist, Jamaa, Najita Pia Japolo, Ma- Maximus. I'm forgetting the Maximus or something. I'm forgetting the first word. But Pontifex Maximus, something like that. But by the end of the day, he's the hairy man of the show. But how are you, my friend? Hope you're well.
Sema Jex, niambie.
Niko fine. Nasikia sauti imekuwa nzito with time. But what do you make of the calls to have a meeting between the executive and the judicial part of the judiciary? Is it something you can advocate for? Is it something good for the country? What happens to other litigants who go to court? Do they feel as though the courts have already been compromised? What will it mean for the trust and the confidence that the public have vested or bestowed upon our courts? And as Alex has just finished by saying, will this not make many now start taking laws or matters into their own hands because they feel that the courts are already compromised and they won't find justice? Hence, at times, may wish to have them um, seek justice on themselves, wachukue sheria mkononi. So what do you make of all that?
Somebody should mute. I don't know who is it.
Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry, I've done that. Go ahead.
The head of executive, the head of the judiciary, and the head of parliament meeting to discuss an issue.
Go ahead. All right. Leo Kenya Rebel for the first time amefanya ile kitu na net. All right, I'll be coming to him. But Silas, let me ask you, what will prevent the public from taking matters in their own hands? As Alex is saying, once that confidence in our courts has been eroded, what will make Kenyans not now to begin disobeying court orders, taking matters in their own hands, because they'll feel by the end of the day, our judges, our court processes, they are mad with undue biasness, and eventually, as Alex is asking, why go to court then if a president or if the executive can interfere with a legal matter, a legal process, with justice itself? Why then go to these courts? Mwana Cyrus. Unmute yourself, sir.
Sorry. If I'm being honest, Kenyans are fed up with all this nonsense. Because I asked in the previous show, I asked you a question. This is the president who was sworn in by the same judiciary is calling corrupt now. Now, do we have to trust the president or the judiciary, or we don't have to trust nothing about the government go on the streets? Because one thing I believe in right now is like they are making us feel like we no longer have to rely on the systems we have in the government systems we have. The only thing I know, like even if we go to Maandamano, that's the only solution we have for now as Kenyan.
But how will Maandamano help? How will it prevent Ruto from meeting Martha Koome? How will it prevent Ruto from influencing judges?
And that's the question, because at the end of the day, all he's doing is intimidation. After tukienda Maandamano bado, the only thing he'll do is just send the police to the streets and tear gas us and we go home. At the end of the day, I don't know. Exactly the same question I can ask. We do not have a way out of this, because the only thing he saw that is left that can hold him like accountable is the judiciary. And now he's trying to have a meeting with them and or whatever he can do with them, intimidate them or lure them or have them influence them, whichever he can do. So we are left in nobody's land. Like we don't have a government. I wish that our friend Nyagaka should have stayed longer to answer a few questions like that one.
He's still in. He's still quite in. He's following.
Yeah, I
And
wanted to ask him a question. Why does he think the house levy was challenged in court? That's not one question. Because I heard him in his remarks, he said, the government is trying to deliver on the promises they made onto the Kenyans during the campaign. But the government making Kenyans pay and pay for to implement what the government promised in the campaigns. It's the Kenyans who are going to carry the burden to pay for that. That's why the house levy is challenged in court, because typically it's the Kenyans who are going to pay for the housing or whatever, the housing scheme.
All right.
And then our president keeps saying there are people who have vested interest who are trying to go against this housing project. And actually, he cited people who are like the rich people who have real estate farms. They're the ones who took him to court so that they cannot have the affordable houses, so their projects can, whatever their businesses can boom. So is he fighting the Kenyans, or is he trying to improve the Kenyans' life? Because at the end of the day, even if we are not in the government, okay, even if we are for, we need a discussion. I wish we had more people like Nyagaka who can come up and we have a honest and a fair discussion. They tell us this is why we should do this and this is why we should not go against this. It's only fair. But like to answer your question, I honestly don't know the way out, because we could the only way we could run to is the judiciary. Like we can if you feel like you are wrong done by the government, you can sue the government. Now you cannot sue the government because they have taken the judiciary under their arm. So we don't know who to run to.
All right. Now, I'll be coming back to you and equally Guru and Mr. Alex with more questions. But Mr. Kenyaribel, you are on the deck. Unfortunately, you were kicked out by yourself. No one kicked you out. I think your internet nowadays is misbehaving, probably because umeninyima camera for quite some time. But then again, what do you make of the meeting that is said that might happen, and if it were to happen, what do you make of it? But I know you remember all I had asked you previously.
Yeah, Jakes, nowadays once I start speaking, I lose sauti. So somebody sabotaging me, I know I'm controversial.
No one has such powers apart from me. Here I am the law, the executioner, the court, I am everything.
Okay, let's test it. Let's see if we can Sawa. I was saying the president, the head of executive, meeting the head of the judiciary and the head of the legislative body in itself is not a bad thing. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. They are meeting, if they want to discuss how they can actually clean up their houses, the president being the head of the executive, how he can clean up corruption in his, whatever, in the executive branch, and whatever the case. It's not a bad thing. So Kenyans should not be outraged by them meeting. It's normal. It's okay. Okay. Now, if they are meeting for the sole purpose of influencing the coming cases, kama hiyo ya housing, affordable housing, then that's where things can go wrong. That's where it's wrong, okay? But to them, meeting is not a problem as long as it doesn't influence. And also we should think about it like this, Jakes. If Ruto wanted to
but Kenyaribel,
let me finish my point. No, let me finish my point. I'll listen to you, Alex.
No, but that's where he's going to negotiate so that he can have affordable housing.
And actually, that's what the point I was getting at.
He's going to force it.
Okay, can you just listen, please? You'll have your time. Sometimes we have to also use our heads a little bit. If I'm the president and I want to buy the judiciary, the head of judiciary, Koome, why should I make it public that tukutane sijui wapi, let's have a meeting so people can actually see that I'm going to influence the decision that's coming to in a case that I know I'm fighting? I mean, why should I be that obvious? Even Uhuru wasn't obvious about that. Uhuru just sent some killers and shot Justice Mbita's bodyguard and sent the message that if you rule this way, you know the results, okay? So why should Ruto be so obvious about that? So let's be realistic here. What I'm trying to say is this: the meeting itself is not a bad thing, okay? Justice, they can sit down and talk. Now, let's wait for the ruling, because the ruling should be done according to the merits of the evidence presented to the judges as it relates to what the law says, okay? So he looked at the law, the petition that was put against it, what the law says about the process in which this government was undertaking this affordable housing project. Then the court can make a determination based on the petition, the process, the evidence presented as it relates to the law, what the law says, okay? Now, Koome akiamka akasema ati, oh, like you saw, what is the name? The justice before Maraga, who was it? That's that useless man that let Kenya down in 2013. That he made a decision, then he said, Mutunga made a decision in 2013, then he gave a reason later. I mean, you don't rule like that. So let's wait and see. If Ruto meets with Koome, then we see that, then we read the judgment that Koome, I don't know who will be making the judgment. I don't think it's in the Supreme Court. I don't think the case is on Supreme Court. But the judgment that will come in on that housing project, about that affordable housing thing, if it's not in line to Tasoma your judgment, if it's not in line with what the Constitution says, then we can start asking questions and saying that meeting actually influence what the courts have ruled on, okay? And that's my take on that. Thank you.
All right, Alex, you seem
Kenya
to have...
Rebel. Kenya Rebel, the president, we have had a video here. The president is saying that he is going to talk to Koome why they are stopping his projects, especially
housing and health,
the housing, affordable housing, and the levy, and the 6% of NHIF.
Right.
So the president said that he wants to know why the courts are stopping that. So that is his agenda.
Actually, he can't blame the courts for stopping anything, okay? The court simply makes a ruling. You can't stop him. He makes a ruling. It's not up to the courts. The courts just interprets what the law says regarding what the petition is. And what I've heard the president say is that he is going to talk about corruption. From what you've played, Sir Jakes, maybe I didn't hear the whole thing, but from what I heard, he was talking about...
The corruption you heard is saying that these judges are corrupt.
Okay.
These judges that stopped this ruling are corrupt. That's how he termed them.
And that's his personal opinion.
And that's why we are saying, that's why we are saying that if that is his agenda with Koome, then it's wrong.
And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that, because that's his. If he feels that there's some judges who are wrong and is going to talk to Koome about that, then Koome will probably ask him, okay, where's your evidence? Bring your evidence so we can take care of these judges. We can take that case to JSC.
But Kenya Rebel, if I may ask you, yes, on the same breath, is that the laid out procedure? We know quite very well that the president is well represented at the JSC through the Attorney General. We have had judges who have been removed because of what the president is accusing other judges of, corruption charges. Why is it now that he has to meet the CJs? In any case, anyone, whether guilty or not, you ought to be heard. You know, you have to have your day in court. The evidence have to be presented, and that's why we have a process. For judges, it has to begin at the JSC, and then a tribunal will be formed. But it never starts with the president. It doesn't start with the president accusing, then inviting the CJ. And no, it doesn't. I don't believe it. So let me ask you this: why Why does he want to take a different route than what Justice Chitembwe's route took? Because by the end of the day, we need to see justice, as Guru said, justice needs to be seen to be done. Why the meeting? Why discuss a judge? Why discuss a court that is even live? Why discuss the merit or demerit of the same as a president or as a CJ? What does it not negate on the process, on the rule of law, on how we do things in our
Yes.
country, on the independence of institution? Does it not dilute all those by that meeting alone?
No, Jakes, if there's corruption, anyone can bring it up. You can mention it. Even you can say if there's a corrupt judge, you say, okay, Justice Koome is corrupt. The burden of proof is on you. So in this tribunal that they went, and whether it was the president who said that these judges are corrupt, when they are taken to the tribunal and the matter is looked at, okay, they'll have to prove that this judge is corrupt. So if this judge is fired as a result of being accused and found accused of being corrupt in this tribunal, and he feels that he shouldn't be taken out of the bench, then he can actually still appeal and say, hey, listen, this is a political witch hunt, and bring his case. But most of them don't appeal that because they're actually corrupt. Okay, so it's not that the president cannot call out a corrupt judge. He can. Okay, but what we are saying is this: you can't just call somebody corrupt because they are ruling against you. That's what I disagree with. But for them to sit down, for him to sit down with the head of the judiciary and the head of legislation body, it's not a bad thing by itself.
All right. Okay. Yes, Bwana Guru, I
still have to talk to.
It's just a question.
Yeah.
The Kenyan rebellion.
Revolutionary. Yes.
I wanted to ask him what are those talks meant to achieve?
All right.
I want to ask him the same question too. The president has accused the justice or whatever Koome to be with his whatever team to be corrupt. So is he going to discuss the issue as why he called them corrupt or other things? Nobody knows the agenda about the meeting. That's why we're talking about it.
All right. I'll
unless you know something about it, let us know. It's okay to have it.
So, Jakes.
Yes, Alex.
Remember, there was a time Sonko decided to release how the judges are corrupt, how he wanted to save his governorship, how he paid these people money through proxies. Later on, he met with these judges, how much he paid them. And they couldn't save him. They couldn't save his governorship. Remember that. And he was silenced by the judiciary itself. He was ganged and he was told, you cannot post those things anymore. So the incompetence is from Koome, who saw those things and he decided to gang Sonko from producing evidence of how he was extorted because he was told that if you do this and this and this, we will save your what? Your governorship. And millions were paid. Millions were paid. If you remember, you could hear 15 million, 25 million. One judge be given that amount of money. So we do not say we don't have corrupt judges. But the executive is not the one to deal with it. We have Judicial Service Commission. The other day, Sonko took a judge to Judicial Service. Successfully, that judge was found guilty. So there is there is a process and a structure within the judiciary that can deal with corrupt judges, but not the executive to start saying remove this one, remove this one, remove this one, so that once these judges are removed, the president is the one that appoints. Now that court is going to be Ruto's court.
Interesting. Kenya Rebel, you have two questions. I'll allow them to be asked
Hey, Jack,
again.
I have
Just
to
one
drive
moment.
home, but I'll be listening.
Yeah, fantastic. Guru asked the first one. What was the first question, Mr. Guru?
What is that meeting meant to achieve?
Fantastic. Cyrus, you equally had a question. What was your question?
I was asking, like, the only reason they call this meeting is the conflict between the two of them about the decision about housing levy. So are they going to sit down and make a decision on that meeting about the housing levy, or is it what does anybody have the agenda of the meeting?
Kenya Rebel, Silas, I allow you to drive back home, and
But I'll be
thank you
listening.
so much. Yeah, thank you so much for being part of this. Yes, Kenya Rebel, you can go ahead and answer that and respond to it as well.
The judiciary is not a party in the case of the affordable housing. There is simply the judiciary are not a party in the case against the housing levy.
It is the arbitrary. It is the one that will
Arbiter.
arbitrate this matter.
Yes, they make the judgment.
But how fair is it when the referee meets with one part of the team?
Oh, the case. Listen,
Omtata will not be there, and many who have taken the government to court will not be there. So how fair will it be, even if it's not a party to that
I'm answering you, and which ties with Guru's question. The president, that's why the president said, we are meeting as the heads of all these three arms of government: the head of the legislative body, the head of the executive, and the head of the judiciary, which is Koome.
What exactly, as what Guru is asking, what will be the purpose? What will be the end game of this meeting? Is it not to influence?
I'm answering you. I can only go by.
Please do.
I can only go by what the president is saying. I don't know. I'm not. I didn't get a memo. I can only go by what he's saying publicly. He says they are going to discuss how they can rid themselves of this corruption in the judiciary, in the legislative branch of government, and also in the executive. Okay, I can only go by what he says. I didn't get the memo on what they're actually going to discuss. So to answer Cyrus, I'm saying again, the courts, and I think the case is in the High Court. It's not in the Supreme Court yet. I don't know. Yes, I think so. But regardless,
no, it's in the Court of Appeal.
Court of Appeal. Yes. Okay. Regardless, the court has no dog in this fight. They can only adjudicate on the matter based on the evidence and what the law says. I hope I'm clear.
No.
Yes, Mr. Guru.
Kenya Revolution, I would wish to believe that is a very ideal situation, but when you are dealing with politicians, they have quick fixes that they want, and Ruto has a game plan, and I pity Madam Koome, because if she's not careful, she's going to be the most disgraced Chief Justice if she does not take care, because even up to now, she does not know what that meeting is all about. If she is seeking out so that they can have good relations, I don't know it is about which good relations. Yet the two arms of government have procedures that are clearly spelled out in the Constitution on how to deal even with conflicts between the various arms of government. So I do not know what
what exactly will be achieved here, except bringing down the judiciary to the level of politics, where people will think that judiciary is just like politics, where you meet and agree on issues and then you move forward. I don't see any other thing, and I am very doubtful that Mutunga or even Maraga would have quickly accepted to that such a thing.
All right.
So Guru, your question was, what will this meeting achieve? In Ruto's speech, and that's why I told Jex to play it again. If you are careful to listen, he said carefully that we want to deal with the judges who are stopping the government projects. That's what he said. And he called them corrupt judges. So that's why I have fear that when he goes to have a meeting with Koome, he wants to tell Koome, anybody that refuses to pass government, if somebody brings it to court, throw it away. I have to do all my remember what he said? I had a manifesto and I have to do all my
Alex,
projects.
you're assuming. You don't know that that's what he's going to say.
In public, he said
No, I'm not assuming. That was he said.
He said in public, he said lazima akinyosha mkono.
That's what he said. I'm not assuming.
No, you're assuming that he's going to tell Nani, I'm saying this. He can say whatever
No, revolutionary. He said that we must deal with this, with the judiciary.
There's
We
nothing
are
wrong
not
with
assuming.
that. There's nothing illegal or wrong with that.
So if a government has a wrong idea, we should not take it to the court. Ruto is saying that we cannot take him to court because that is his manifesto. Like the housing levy, he quoted the housing levy, especially.
That's not what I'm saying.
He quoted the housing levy today and said that the judge that refused it is a corrupt judge. I'm only quoting what Ruto said today in Nandi.
In public, it's not a secret.
When he was launching affordable housing.
Yes, Guru.
Yes, and Kenya, I think you are using that, you're misusing that word revolutionary. Maybe it's good you correct it.
It's
because you see,
he's a rebel living in Kenya.
You see, when
by the way,
when
his
the executive,
real name is Japolo.
When the executive says that anybody who goes to take a case to court on a certain matter that he does not agree with the government is a crook, Nimkora. Then what are the courts meant for, if not to adjudicate matters that you don't agree with? Yes, it may be Amkora, but there is a constitution which will finally be used to deal with these matters. So you can see a move to even intimidate the public, those who don't agree with the government, from going to have those matters adjudicated in court. When you call a public figure like Omtata that he is corrupt, that he has bribed, he's using bribery so to get his cases through, and you don't provide evidence, when you say he's Amkora, you can obviously see that is politics being played, and politics comes with the blackmail, with threats, and so on and so forth. That is what he wants to transfer now to the judicial system, which is not right.
That's a good point, Guru. That's why I'm trying to differentiate between politics and actually real law. Because remember when Uhuru was saying, calling what's his name, Maraga Mkora, and even Ruto was calling him Kora at that time. But did that change the ruling of the courts after he said it was null and void? No, it did not. So Ruto can call Omtata, can call that judge Mkora, but
Maraga is not Madam Koome. The
what was his
personality.
position? What was Maraga's position?
Let me tell you.
What was his position?
You know, the issue is, I am sure Maraga and Mutunga would have had a second thought to even agree to meet, especially in the kind of environment which has already been created. Because now it is showing like this is the two.
Maraga met Kenyatta, if that's where you're going with this.
In politics, but it also depends on which context. The context here is that the judiciary has been accused of humbling corrupt people. Yet there is a Judicial Service Commission that should handle those cases in case they are there. And then at the same time, there's the intimidation of the public, those who want to go and confront the government on certain policies. They are called crooks and wakora. And so you can see clearly there is a plan here to achieve a certain goal, and that goal is not good for the people of Kenya, because we wrote the constitution so that people can have their matters adjudicated in a fair system. If there is a judge who is corrupt, take that judge to Judicial Service Commission, like in Sonko did, and have it adjudicated. This matter of going to public rallies, how does that help? How does
What's wrong with going? Okay, good. What distinguish between what is said in a public rally and what actually takes place in court? Okay, what takes place in court. Just because Ruto says "Awa ni wakora," what does it mean? I mean, Raila called them wakora, did not agree with the ruling in the presidential petition. But so what? He had to live with the fact that he did not win. So the same thing, whether Ruto he calls Koome wakora, judges wakora, whatever the case is, should not take away from what actually will take place in that court. Okay, if the ruling is done in favor of Ruto.
Let me ask you. Did you hear Koome say that such statements intimidate the court officials?
Yes,
that is what was contained. Yeah, it was contained in the Nini. They are human beings also. They have a life. So when you start attacking people in that manner, you are trying to contain them and make them think in a certain way.
Right, and I'm glad they will iron this issue out when they sit down and talk as the heads of the executive, judiciary, and the legislative.
How do you know?
Wow! Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have like 33 minutes, and I want to really divide it so well that I equally have a minute or so for myself, and sijimalizie. But how will I use my minutes? I want to play 2 clips. Then we can summarize all this. I begin with Sifuna's sentiments and equally John Badi over the same. All right. Now, who do I begin with? Let me begin with John Badi.
Those are terrorists.
Son. Viga way. Viga ODM. Mimi niko na machache kwa sababu ya saa. Kwanza nataka niwapongeze nyinyi watu wa Vihiga. Wakati wa uchaguzi nilikuwa na uoga sana, kwa sababu mnajua kiongozi moja wa Kenya Kwanza anatoka hapa, si ndio? Sikufikiria mtachagua ama mtapigia Raila Amolo Odinga kura. Matokeo ilionyesha nyinyi ni watu wa ODM. Asanteni sana. Ya pili, ninataka nipongeze watu wawili hapa. Ya kwanza ni Senator Osotsi. Huyu mjamako na bidii ingine kwa chama ile uwezi unganisha na mtu yeyote. Na pia chairman wa chama cha ODM katika county ya Vihiga. Huyu ndugu yangu is very loyal and dedicated to the party and is a truthful man. Kwa hivyo mlinde huyu, anasaidia chama cha ODM sana. Ya mwisho, hii nitasema kwa Kiingereza. I want to also emphasize and reinforce what our SG has said. Kenyans created 4 arms of government. One is executive, the other one is legislature, the third one is judiciary, but the fourth one is independent commissions. Judicial Service Commission is supposed to be independent and should not be subjected to any office, individual, or authority. Therefore, Chief Justice, please listen to us. The people of Kenya have entrusted you with that position to be the chair of Judicial Service Commission. We don't want to see any meeting between Judicial Service Commission and the president. If there is supposed to be a meeting, it should be a national conversation, a national dialogue where all of us are present. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.
Thank you. I want to...
Right, and that's what I want us to deliberate on. If truly we have to have a conversation, why don't we invite all the litigants, both the government side and those who go to court, the judges, everyone, to sit on a round table and we have a national dialogue so that this matter is not seemingly discussed by the president and the CJ. Bwana Alex, do you agree with John Buddy that if we have to have a discussion, if this has to happen, everyone should be on board, every player should be invited? It shouldn't be for selected few, because inviting the Speaker of the Senate, the Speaker of the National Assembly, and the President himself, these are people who come from the same side. These are people who went and campaigned on the same side. These are people who won on the same party or coalition. So having the 3 is already a biased discussion. Why don't we have all the players sit on the table and have the meeting discussing issues and matters? If corruption is really the issue, this is not a matter only in courts, it's a matter in the executive, a matter in the police sector, in all the sectors. So why don't we have all the sectors coming on board if this is a matter that has to be discussed? But Alex, I begin with you even as we near wrapping up.
I agree with John Buddy, especially when he said we have 4 arms, of a government. Only named them. And the thing that he said was we must protect the sanctity of our Judicial Service Commission, because it is an important arm that helps us in the litigation. But I also want to add one thing. If we destroy our courts, and this is what Orego say, if we destroy our courts, the country might go into anarchy. Let's say Kenya Kwanza did not win and we won, and we start doing this nonsense. Do you think they will have agreed? Let's be fair. Let's not be partisan to a point that we become sycophants and we refuse to see that there are things that we should not interfere. It's like somebody says, oh, hii hospitali ni ya Wakisii, Wajaluo wasikuje huko. You are a Luo and you are in Kisii, and then you are refused to go to the hospital. What does that mean? It means discrimination. Hospitals are meant for all people. Why? Because when somebody is sick, you cannot deny them services because they are from another tribe. And I'm giving that example because our courts are for all of us. If I have a court case, ya land, I should not fear going to court. You saw what, no, give me time. You saw what Nani alisema, Atwoli. Atwoli alisema, do not destroy the labor courts, industrial and labor courts, because they have been crucial to trade, zinaitwa hii vitu wamesimamia trades I don't know, I've forgotten. No,
union.
Let's say Kotu. So the thing is that if you destroy the labor and industrial court, somebody can fire anybody without a reason. And what happens? You lose a job for no apparent reason because you have nowhere to go.
All right.
So let's protect our courts by all means. When the executive sleeps with the executive,
with the
judiciary, it is wrong. Remember what Kofi Annan, when he left Kenya after the negotiation, he said, fahari wawili wakipigana nyasi naumia. But he added this, fahari wawili, when they make love, sio nyasi naumia, ni udongo naumia, kwa sababu nyasi itatoka kitambo. Nitamalizia hapo.
All right. Well, sawa.
Jakes, can I speak real quick so I can leave? Because I have to go somewhere.
We are all leaving in less than 10 minutes.
I'm literally leaving right now. I'll be short.
All right.
Okay. Mbadi is a raging lunatic. He's an accountant by profession. He doesn't know what he's talking about. There's 3 arms of government. The JSC is not an arm of government. Anyway, number 1, he says we should all be there. We are all there. We are represented by these folks. Remember the delegated duties, the delegated powers that we gave the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative. They represent us, okay? So when he says we should all be there, we're already there because we chose these people. We delegated these powers to them. So we are basically there. We are all involved in that talk, okay? So again, all right. Like I say, this whole idea of saying the executive is sleeping in judiciary, they're not. If they are going to discuss as people, there are 3 arms of government to streamline what they lead, whatever, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if they start affecting the decisions that the courts make, then we can say that this is wrong. I agree that what Ruto said that his pronouncements last week or whatever the case is was problematic, and he shouldn't say that. But meeting the other people from the arms of government is not wrong by itself. Anyway, thank you.
Yes, Alex.
You know, saying that Mbadi is an accountant, so he's clueless. Jex, it doesn't make any sense.
He is, because we know that we have 3 arms of government.
Jex,
He's telling it that he's 4.
Stop him from saying that.
You can't tell people that you have 4 arms of government and you're a
wrong
parliament.
to say
How
that.
does that make sense?
Kenya Rebel.
Just because you are an accountant, you are clueless.
Mbadi is clueless. Yes, he's clueless because he's telling people that they have 4 arms of government.
You are the one who's clueless.
The basic civic fundamental
You are clueless. You are naive.
Does not know.
You are clueless and naive.
No. Let's not say that.
Let's not degenerate when we are almost finishing.
Right.
But let's.
I told you, Azimio is a terrorist organization.
Kenya Rebel. We are not talking about.
Don't label people, because we all Kenyans. We all love Kenya.
I can substantiate my claims.
This guy cannot always call us terrorists here. This guy cannot be calling us terrorists here all the time, and you leave it. I'm not going to come to this show when I'm being called a terrorist. This guy must stop people.
We love our country. That's why we spend all this time talking about it. We are not terrorists. He knows that.
But this guy keeps on coming here and calling us terrorists.
He knows that. He just wants to rattle us. They always want to be able
Unaware,
to.
he's
Alex doesn't
innocent
even
and
belong to
unaware
Azimio.
and
Alex is
naive.
not even Azimio.
Gentlemen,
I'm
we
very sure
only
he knows
go.
that. You know, he just said it. We are not.
Gentlemen, we have to make progress because we have to end up
You're right.
ending. We have to end this show.
And I like
Now,
when we have people with a contrary opinion, and that's the way we can. But we all love Kenya. He loves Kenya. We love Kenya. We have to find a way to live together.
So it's contrary opinion being called a terrorist.
equally,
If you are
I
part
don't
of
think we
Azimio, then
are.
you are
That's
terrorists.
Alex. I
You
don't
must
think
stop that.
we
We
are
are
not.
not terrorists. I'm not a terrorist.
Gentlemen,
You know that.
gentlemen, let's agree that John Badi has the right to participate in matters in our country, whether his profession meets your thinking or it doesn't. It's up to him to say it as he sees it, because equally you as well, you have a profession which we don't know, and some may argue
He's misleading Kenyans by saying we have 4 arms of government. We don't. We have 3.
misleading or not. Just one moment. Listen, Kenya Rebel. Misleading or not,
Kenya Rebel, you don't even have a profession.
Whatever he does, it's okay. That's what we define as his profession. But my point is, everyone should be allowed to have his say. That's what we call democracy. He's entitled to his opinion. You might not like it, you might not sit well with it, but
We
that
have the
is
right to challenge his
opinion.
opinion when he says it in public as a public
Fantastic.
official.
Challenge it from a level that even who listens to you after this will say truly that person argued from an intellect level, from an angle of no, from an angle that doesn't make Badi look good and you look so bad, because calling him names for airing an opinion doesn't make you look good as well.
He's a lunatic. What's wrong with that?
Whatever, that's your opinion, and equally you can equally be described as
No,
so.
if somebody tells you there's 4 arms of government,
you are the lunatic here because you are calling people terrorists.
You're not certified by any jurisdiction to declare anyone mental. You are not. So that's what I'm saying. If anyone listens to this after, they will equally question your mental state. So let's not degenerate the show. Let's stick to the facts and to the position of what we are discussing. That will make good progress. All right. Now let's go back to the conversation, because my question was so clear. John Badi is calling for a national dialogue. Let's not segregate and call only a selected few in matters that is of public importance. That's what he's asking for. Whether he's lunatic or not, that's not really my business at this particular part of the show. My business is what he's calling for. Is it a correct and a justified what do you call it, and a justified call? If we look at it from that angle, I think we will not fight. Cyrus, do we need a national dialogue over this? Or should we just have the president and the judiciary meet, and of course, the Senate and the parliament leaders alone? Unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself. You're talking about... I'm unable to unmute you. Unmute yourself, Cyrus.
I'm saying, look at us already. We are fighting as Kenyans. We do not know what those bosses are going to sit and talk about and what they come up with. And we have to go by what they come up with, whether we like it or not.
All right. All right. Okay.
We don't need a national dialogue. We need to flush out corruption and these colonial puppets, Raila Odinga, Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, all of them.
How is that when the president call out about the issues he's bringing about the court and is trying to meet them and intimidate them and talk to them about what he wants to do, not about what is right?
He said they are going to talk about corruption. He didn't say he's not going to tell them what to do.
What corruption? But the corruption came up because they stopped these projects, which have questions about the whole nation has questions about the projects. That's why they have to question it. And now he wants to talk to them.
We are going to have a ruling over that pretty soon. So let's wait and see.
All right. Now, Alex and the Kenya Rebel and Osano, I have less than 10 minutes. And
You're right. I like what you're doing, Mutembe. Just keep doing it.
All right. Now I need you guys to give me your closing remarks, and please don't raise rebuttals at this particular hour. But we can as well continue this in the morning. We have another show just like this in the morning, ladies and
What
gentlemen,
time?
from 8:30 a.m. Kenyan time. Now I don't know how, I know it will be quite late there in the
How to
US,
find you? I
but
know how to find you. I have notifications
yeah,
on.
yeah. Please do.
Yeah,
We will have this show in the morning. Yeah. So what we're doing, we're just taking a breather, have a
It,
digestion of what
it,
you have said, and then
I
have
from
like,
what
another.
I
I saw
like, I like,
yesterday,
I like people like Kenya Labor. We want more of them. Kenya
All
Cyrus,
Labor,
right.
Nyagaka. We want such people who want to enlighten us about what we don't see on the other side of the government.
All right.
Cyrus,
Yes.
the show will be at 11:30 p.m.
I'll say that I remember that.
All right. Fantastic. Alex, your closing remarks?
No, I want to be last.
All right. Okay. Then I begin from the oldest to the very, I don't know if Alex you're the youngest, but let me begin with Penya Gaka.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm old. Alex anasema I'm geriatric, but when I have a different opinion, a different view, then I'm geriatric.
Uncle
Lakini kama ni
Kome,
mtu kama Olengo, kama ni
Uncle,
mtu kama Olengo, then they have
Uncle
no problem.
Kome,
No,
you
I
know
don't
I've
have
been
no
not,
problem with that. No, 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 no.
Uncle,
I didn't mean. I don't take
you
that
know I did not
offensively.
mean it.
I know. I don't
Kenny,
take offense about it. That's all. That's so cool. That's Jakes. Thank you very much for letting us air our views and whatever that they can discuss. The president, the court, and those guys from parliament. We hope it affects the Kenyan people positively, not negatively. And that's all I can say for now. Thank you very much, Alex, Rosano, Jakes. It's good time. It's a good time to air our views in a forum like this. Thank you very
I
much.
love it. I sincerely love it. Make me feel like I'm home.
All right. Osano, your closing remarks as well.
I say like I love what you're doing. Despite our conversations we have all the time, we all mean the same thing for Kenya. We love our country. We need things done the right way. Even if our leaders fail us, let us always stay focused and let us love each other. We can talk about each other on the forum and whatever we shout at each other. At the end of the day, it's because we mean good for our country and we love Kenya.
All right. Beautiful. Finally, Alex. I don't know if you're the youngest, but you take the moment to take this home.
no, this was a hot topic, and we've really done well. Everybody has given their views from Guru, from Kejariba, from my Uncle Penny. Uncle Penny, when I said geriatrics, I was just making jokes. You know you are you are my uncle. And we make a
Well,
lot
it's
of
all
jokes.
good. It's all good. And the name you had yesterday, and your body, you use that a lot. Ochog.
Yes, you know my name was talking. And that's my real name. Yesterday I made a mistake and I put it here, and people are calling me Ochoki. But anyway, the show was good. We have had a robust debate, divergent views. Uh, whether we agreed or we did not agree, uh, we all agreed that our judiciary is an important part of the three arms of our government. So I believe we were speculating some things. Let's wait and see. But I wish not only the Kenya Kwanza could have gone and spoke with who? With Koome, because it's one-sided and it can be problematic if they make laws that favors them. But overall, the show was good. Jex, you did a good job. Kejariba, I know him. He's always a rebel. So, so whenever he comes to the show, I know we will have some spat with him, and which is not wrong. We need it. You know, sometimes when the show is too calm, uh, we, I don't want to use the word in the wrong way. When I say sometimes we need violence, it doesn't mean the bad violence. I mean sometimes we need to have heated conversations.
All right.
And
I get home safe, guys. Have a good night. Be safe wherever you are. Bye.
Bye
Thank you.
bye. Good night, good morning, good afternoon to you, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
I am
Now,
finished.
someone asked me you had talked about. All right. Someone asked me that I had talked about Sifuna and I didn't play it. So, due to that demand, here we go.
Ati yule ambaye ni jaji mkuu Martha Koome amesalimu amri, sasa anaitisha mazungumzo ya amani na Ruto. Unajua, imenivunja moyo sana, kwa sababu juzi watu wa KWS walituambia ati ukikutana na fisi ati uongee nayo. Wakenya wakajaribu wakawaambia hizi fisi haziwezi ongeleshwa. You cannot have a dialogue with fisi. It is not possible. You cannot have dialogue with a hyena that is greedy and hungry for your children. Chief Justice Martha Koome nimemtumia ujumbe leo asubuhi. Nikamwambia wakati ambao tunaishi sasa, it requires bold action and people to stand up straight against dictatorship. Wewe badala ya kuitisha mazungumzo, hiyo mazungumzo mnaenda kusema nini? Mkubaliane na Ruto zile kesi atawachilia zipite, zingine muachilie zipite, wananchi waendelee kuumia. Mazungumzo ni ya nini? Wewe uko na katiba. Wakati unaingia kama jaji mkuu, unashika Biblia unasema utatetea katiba. On this particular issue, the national government is wrong. The executive is wrong. The judiciary is right. Stand firm. There is nothing to dialogue over. Ati unazungumza na fisi ya kuachia watoto wengine wakule wengine. Inawezekana kweli? Tunataka kuambia Martha Koome, wewe unajua sisi wana ODM, we don't like you, but we respect you. And the reason we don't like you is because you used your high pedestal to insult us and to demean us and our case when we presented the petition against the election of Ruto. Lakini tunakuonyesha heshima. Baba alisema hata kama akubaliani na huo uamuzi, anaheshimu mahakama. Leo hii wanakuja wanakutisha ati sasa unaitisha mazungumzo. Tunaambia Chief Justice, there are no deals between the good and those who are evil. Hamwezi kufanya mkataba wote kati ya watu waovu na watu ambao wako kwa haki. Kwa hivyo huo mkutano ambao mnaenda, kama mtafanya mkutano Ruto na judiciary, wa Kenya lazima wakue hapo wajue ni deal gani mna agree hapo, kwa sababu hatuwezi kubali kuhujumiwa. Wacha nimalizie hapo baba, ni muite.
All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap the show up and we choose to ask you to kindly join us in the morning to have a great, awesome conversation here at Afrique. We will have the fantastic. We'll have the dailies, we'll look at the newspapers, and of course some news making headlines. So this is a show that will happen at 8:30 a.m. Kenyan time. Someone told me to be at around 11:30 a.m. Canadian time, 11:30 p.m. Sorry, not a.m. US time. I don't know what time. I think it was slightly very early in the UK, but Kenya it was around 8:30 Kenyan time. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet in the morning to have another awesome conversation. I'm your host, Jex, the moderator, and as usual, it's always an honor. I don't take it for granted to be your moderator and to really lead the show. So thank you so much. This is Afrique 24. Kindly consider subscribing to Afrique 24. Make this your #1 channel in as far as such content is concerned. We welcome you, everybody, from wherever you are, in the US, in the UK, in Canada, in Australia, whatever part of the world you're in. Kindly consider subscribing to Africa 24. We welcome you to be part of this growing family. See you tomorrow morning, or rather today morning, because it's already 1 a.m. here in Kenya. So see you later and have a fantastic one. God bless you. See you tomorrow morning.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Twaenda mbio kokote, Kenya yaenda mbele. Kwa elimu twaenda mbele kokote, matibabuni twaenda mbele kokote, viwandani twaenda mbele kokote, na mashambani twaenda mbele kokote. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri, kwa Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Tunajivunia Kenya nchi yetu, kweli yapendeza, kweli yavutia. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Ziwa la Victoria linaunganisha Kenya na Uganda, Kenya na Tanzania. Fika Mombasa, mwito wa bahari, ogelea maji, jua tamu kuota. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu. Kenya nchi yangu nitaitoloza, nitailinda maishani mwangu.
PPMC Production.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Kenya nchi tunayoipenda. Twajivunia sana tukiji